Welcome back to Klepper's Corner, where today we're introducing a special segment, Leopard's Ate My Face Trump Edition. Or, as I like to call it, Consequences. That thing Trump voters never expected to encounter. Let's dive right in. Meet this federal contractor and self-described MAGA junkie. He proudly told HuffPost that he was shocked. He is shocked when Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, cost him his job. His exact words, "I expected better from him after all I did," wearing the hat, waving the flag. Oh no, he wore a hat and waved a flag. Someone get this man the Medal of Honor. That's right up there with storming Normandy or eating a salad at Mar-a-Lago. Buddy, expecting Trump to spare you from budget cuts is like volunteering as tribute in the Hunger Games and then being stunned when someone tries to shoot you. What did you think was going to happen? Next, Wisconsin's most loyal Trump voter remains supportive even after ICE detained his own wife, admitting only now it felt personal. That's right, folks. Deporting someone else's spouse? Totally fine. Deporting his own wife? Well, now you've gone too far. That's like cheering when a tornado blows away your neighbor's house, then getting mad when the twister takes your trampoline. Hey, not my trampoline. I voted for you, Mr. Tornado. Then we have Skylar Holden, a Missouri cattle rancher who went on TikTok after losing nearly $250,000 of USDA funds because Trump froze federal aid. Skylar laments, "I thought he'd protect us, not pull the rug out." Skylar, believing Trump would protect farmers, is like hiring Ted Cruz as your Uber driver and being shocked when he takes you straight to Cancun. In Kentucky, Principal Jennifer Blankenship said Trump's education budget cuts were devastating her school. She said, and I quote, "I didn't vote for this." Jennifer, voting for Trump and then being shocked when he cuts school funding is like adopting a shark and complaining it keeps eating all your fish. What? It's a predator? A two-time Trump voter at Veterans Affairs told Business Insider he felt hoodwinked after massive layoffs. Really? Hoodwinked? You elected the ultimate con artist. Being surprised Trump conned you is like watching Titanic and getting mad the boat sinks at the end. Spoilers? Next, a college kid from the Midwest voted Trump and later panicked when Trump's tariffs tanked his family's small business. He actually said, "This chaos isn't what I signed up for." Oh, my sweet summer child. Voting Trump and hating chaos is like attending a Nickelback concert and complaining about the music. You did this to yourself. And in Michigan, Arab Americans for Trump are changing their name after Trump proposed invading Gaza. I guess it finally dawned on them that supporting Trump is like inviting a vampire to a blood drive and wondering why the cookies keep disappearing and also your friends. One Minnesota voter even called Trump the biggest mistake of my life. And that's saying something coming from a state whose biggest culinary export is lutefisk, basically fish-flavored Jell-O. A National Weather Service employee felt betrayed when Trump embraced Project 2025 after promising not to. Yes, folks, he trusted Trump's promises. Sir, expecting Trump to keep a promise is like letting Rudy Giuliani borrow your phone charger. You're never getting it back, and somehow it'll end up at a pawn shop. Then there's Bobby from Texas, annoyed Trump's busy renaming the Gulf and buying Greenland instead of lowering grocery prices. Bobby actually said, it's just kind of crazy. Bobby, just kind of crazy, is the understatement of the year. Voting Trump and hoping he'd lower prices instead of buying random countries is like giving your credit card to a toddler in a candy store and being shocked when they return with diabetes. We also have a Latino voter shocked. Trump's deportation policies weren't limited to criminals. Dude, voting Trump hoping he wouldn't deport people like you is like handing Jason Voorhees a machete and telling him, use it responsibly. Another voter panicked when she realized Trump's policies meant her undocumented husband might be deported. That's like lighting fireworks indoors and screaming when your curtains catch fire. Who could have possibly foreseen this tragedy? Then there's parents of special needs kids surprised Trump's education cuts affected their children's 504 plans. Voting Trump and being surprised by this is like bringing a snowman to Florida and wondering why Olaf melted before noon. A voter panicked after learning the ACA was Obamacare. Oh boy. Discovering Obamacare is the ACA is like realizing Clark Kent is Superman and then shouting, wait, they're the same guy? Then Grandma got shocked Trump put Dr. Oz in charge of Medicaid. Yeah, Grandma, and next Trump will appoint SpongeBob as Secretary of the Navy. Actually, don't give him ideas. And then there's the MAGA cousins emoji-filled group chat meltdown. Turns out that voting Trump was like playing Monopoly. You start out cocky, end up bankrupt, and then you flip the board, crying. The retiree banking on Social Security is shocked Trump wants cuts. That's like letting your cat babysit your goldfish bowl. You should have seen this coming, Grandpa Nemo. Finally, the Venezuelan voter was shocked Trump targeted temporary protected status. Trusting Trump on immigration is like asking Cruella de Vil to dog sit your Dalmatians while someone's losing spots tonight. In conclusion, folks, if you vote for the guy promising chaos, don't be surprised when chaos comes knocking. Remember, when the sign says beware of leopards, it doesn't mean they'll politely nibble your neighbor's face and leave you alone. They eat everyone's face equally. That's our show tonight. Tune in next time, and remember, vote responsibly or the leopard gets dessert. Welcome back to Klepper's Corner America, where reality checks bounce higher than Trump's spray tan budget. Today we're diving headfirst into Trump America's latest delusion, Trump claiming he can run for a third term as president.
They keep saying I can't run again. Wrong. I've spoken to many, many people, the best people, very smart, some even read books, and they've said, sir, you can absolutely run for a third term.
Now, I'm no constitutional scholar, but something smells more off here than Eric Trump's cologne. But let's humor him for a moment. Do you think Trump can run for a third term?
Absolutely. George Washington did it.
Actually, he didn't.
Well then, Lincoln.
He didn't even finish his second.
Obama?
Thanks, Obama. But let's not just trust random folks in MAGA hats. Let's go straight to Trump's constitutional advisor, Rudy Giuliani.
Look, Jordan, everyone knows the Constitution is more of a suggestion, like expiration dates on milk or paying taxes. And if you squint real hard, there's definitely something in there about 3 terms.
Ah, yes, Rudy Giuliani, America's favorite legal expert who seems like he got his law degree from Trump University. But what does Trump himself say to the critics?
People come up to me, tears in their eyes, big, strong men, construction workers, bikers. They say, sir, please save our country again. Run for the third term. I tell them, believe me, I'm already working on term number 5.
Term number 5? Did he skip counting like Don Jr. skipped logic class? In Trump America, reality doesn't get to tell you no. It's like Disneyland. But instead of Mickey Mouse, it's just Rudy Giuliani lost in asking kids for directions. Until next time, America, remember, Trump can promise a third term all he wants, but we're still waiting for Mexico to pay for the wall. Klepper, out.
Hello, America. I'm Rudy Giuliani, and I've got something amazing for you today. Have you ever been in a high-stress situation and your hair dye starts running down your face? Well, worry no more. Introducing Rudy's hair dye, the only hair dye that can handle the heat. Folks, we've all been there, whether you're defending democracy, fighting off fake news, or just trying to look your best on camera. Sometimes things get a little hot. But with Rudy's hair dye, you'll stay cool, calm, and collected.
I used to worry about my hair dye running during important meetings and surprise press conferences, but now with Rudy's hair dye, I can face any camera with confidence.
Our revolutionary formula is designed to withstand the toughest conditions. Sweat, no problem. Stress, bring it on. Hot lights of a press conference, piece of cake. Let me show you how it works.
We've tested Rudy's hair dye under the most intense scenarios. From heated debates to marathon legal battles, this dye doesn't budge. It's sweat-proof, stress-proof, and scandal-proof.
I was giving a 3-hour deposition and not a single drop of dye ran down my face. Thanks, Rudy's hair dye.
Whether I'm on TV or dodging questions, my hair stays perfect with Rudy's hair dye. Hey, you guys know I don't use this crap, right?
Hey, it's Joe Rogan here. You know, I've had some pretty intense conversations on my podcast, but the last thing I need is my hair dye running down my face. With Rudy's hair dye, I can grill my guests without worrying about my hair. It's a game changer.
Don't let the heat get to you. Order Rudy's hair dye today and face any situation with confidence. Call now and you'll get a second bottle free. Just pay separate shipping and handling. Remember, when it comes to keeping your cool, Rudy's hair dye has got you covered.
Rudy's hair dye is the only hair dye trusted by high-profile figures who face intense scrutiny every day. Don't let your hair dye be the reason you lose your cool. Call 1-800-NO-DRIP-DYE now. That's 1-800-NO-DRIP-DYE. Order today and stay cool under pressure.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the hottest new product launch of the century. Straight from the mind of the one and only Lil King, we present to you Trump's torches and pitchforks.
That's right, folks. You love my steaks, my ties, and my university. Now get ready for the ultimate tool to make your voices heard. It's time to stand down and stand by in style.
Amazing. Tell us, Lil King, what makes these torches and pitchforks so special?
This isn't just any torch. This is a MAGA torch. It's got LED lights, a built-in speaker for my greatest hits, and it's flame retardant. Safety first, people.
Wow, that's incredible. And what about the pitchfork?
This baby is made of the finest plastic, light as a feather, but strong enough to poke any election fraud right in the ballot box.
I used to just stand around waiting for the votes to be counted. But now, with Lil King's torch and pitchfork, I feel like I'm really part of the action.
And for a limited time, you can get your very own Lil King torch and pitchfork set for just $19.99. But wait, there's more. Order now, and you'll get a free Stop the Steal t-shirt.
Operators are standing by, just like we want you to. Don't miss out on this opportunity to be part of history. Remember, when the votes are being counted, you need to be ready. And now, you can be ready in style. Make America nuts again.
That's right, folks. Don't delay. Get your Lil King torch and pitchfork set today. Stand down, stand by, and shine bright with Lil King's latest and greatest invention.
Lil King's Torch and Pitchfork Emporium is not responsible for any unintended consequences resulting from the use of our products. So torches and pitchforks are intended for decorative purposes only and should not be used in actual protest activities, riots, or any form of mob action. The LED lights in the torch are not to be used as a substitute for regular lighting and may cause temporary blindness if stared at directly for prolonged periods. So the built-in speaker playing Lil King's greatest hits is guaranteed to play on a loop and may result in excessive humming, uncontrollable dancing, or sudden urges to tweet at 3 a.m. The plastic used in the pitchfork is designed to be lightweight and is not suitable for agricultural purposes, self-defense, or poking election fraud, actual or imagined. Do not use the pitchfork to cook marshmallows, spearfish, or as a walking stick. Lil King's Torch and Pitchfork Emporium makes no claims regarding the effectiveness of these tools in influencing vote counts, stopping the steal, or making America great again. Any resemblance to actual farm tools is purely coincidental. In the event of a malfunction, do not attempt to repair the torch or pitchfork yourself. Doing so may result in minor injuries, major injuries, or spontaneous combustion. If your torch begins to smoke, overheat, or play non-Lil King music, discontinue use immediately and consult a professional or just throw it away. The Stop the Steal t-shirt included with your purchase is made from 100% synthetic fibers and should not be worn near open flames, including but not limited to Lil King's torches. Standing down and standing by with Lil King's Torch and Pitchfork set does not guarantee that you will be part of any historical event, gain media attention, or receive a personal shout-out from Lil King himself. Results may vary, and your experience may include, but is not limited to, standing in the rain, missing dinner, and questioning your life choices. Lil King's Torch and Pitchfork Emporium is not affiliated with any political campaign, candidate, or reality television show. All sales are final and no refunds will be issued except in cases of product defect, natural disasters, or acts of divine intervention. By purchasing our products, you agree to hold harmless Lil King, his associates, and any related parties from any and all claims, lawsuits, or public embarrassment resulting from the use of our torches and pitchforks. Order now. And remember, when it comes to standing down and standing by, do it with Lil King's Torch and Pitchfork set. Operators are standing by to take your call, but not responsible for any advice given regarding the use of our products. Thank you for choosing Lil King's Torch and Pitchfork Emporium, where we light up your life one torch at a time. Whew, there you have it, folks. Order now and remember to use responsibly.
Welcome back to Klepper's Corner, the show that reminds you if democracy were an IKEA cabinet, we'd be looking desperately for screws Trump threw away. Now let's talk about Donald Trump, because honestly, therapy is expensive and this is cheaper. This week, folks, Trump supporters are celebrating an amazing milestone: 107 executive orders signed in just 72 days of Trump's second term. 107. That's one order every 16 hours. It's like Trump's presidency is sponsored by Red Bull and grievance tweets. Now, where does the number 107 even come from? Apparently, it's from a very credible source, an anonymous X post. Because if there's one thing we learned from January 6th, it's that you can always trust anonymous social media posts about Donald Trump. Right? We do have details on about 20 actual orders from the first week. Yes, just the first week. Remember the Paris Agreement? Gone. The World Health Organization. Trump thinks it's a Chinese conspiracy, which is exactly what you say right before you tweet from a Chinese-made iPhone. And my personal favorite, Trump created something called the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, run by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, because nothing says efficiency like a billionaire obsessed with Mars and a guy whose presidential campaign had fewer viewers than a tutorial on how to boil water. He even signed an order to recognize only two sexes, which, to be fair, matches the exact number of times Trump has read the Constitution. Spoiler alert, it's 0. Then there was the clemency for 1,500 January 6th rioters. Because in Trump's America, violent insurrectionists get pardons, and librarians recommending Toni Morrison get investigated. Now, we know Trump also declared a national emergency at the border, which means America's newest national pastime is yelling at a wall that isn't Mexico. Remain in Mexico is back too, even though Mexico didn't actually agree. You know, Trump's diplomacy is like your uncle at Thanksgiving, loud, confusing, and probably drunk. But after those first orders, the specifics get fuzzy. Sources report around 107 total, but nobody knows what most of them actually say. They're basically Trump's version of Big Bitcoin. Confusing, probably worthless, and only Elon Musk seems excited. We've been forced to guess the rest based on general categories: immigration crackdowns, tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China, pretty much everyone except Saudi Arabia. Because when you commit human rights abuses, Trump only sees job creators. He reportedly signed over a dozen orders promoting fossil fuels, because nothing says making America great again like air you can chew. He even reinstated the federal death penalty targeting crimes against law enforcement, though apparently attempting to beat a Capitol cop with a fire extinguisher gets you an autograph and a pardon. But my favorite rumored orders are the miscellaneous ones, like revoking John Bolton's security clearance. John Bolton, the guy who'd bomb a wedding because the DJ played Despacito. Even Bolton thinks Trump's gone off the deep end, which is like being kicked out of Slayer for playing music too loud. And don't forget, rolling back Biden's prescription drug cost-cutting measures. Because who needs affordable insulin when you can just pray the diabetes away? So, does Trump actually have 107 executive orders? Who knows? The Federal Register hasn't released them yet. At this point, Trump signing executive orders is like your grandpa ordering cable TV packages. He doesn't really know what's in them. He just loves feeling powerful. That's our update for Trump Merica, folks, the greatest nation on earth. According to anonymous posts on X, I'm Jordan Klepper, and remember, democracy is fragile. Handle it with care, or at least with fewer executive orders. See you next week.
Tired of seeing Trump's face only on American flags?
It's great, but I need more.
Well, now you can take Trump's branding to divine heights. Introducing the Trump Blasphemy Bible, now featuring Trump's face.
I feel so holy.
It's like a miracle.
Praise be to me. That's right. Send me your offering, suckers. Oh crap, I mean my people.
For just $69.99, you can own your very own ticket to the highway to hell, the Trump Good Book.
Look, everyone, it's Trump and the flag on the Bible.
Wow, now that's divine. Now I can pray with style.
This is the best gift ever.
Whether you're at church, in a book club, or just showing off at the local cafe, your Trump Blasphemy Bible will be the talk of the town. Order now at www.trumpsholyface.com or call 1-800-BIBLE-FACE and elevate your spiritual game for only $69.99. Shipping and handling not included. Limited time offer. Not responsible for any unintended blasphemy or sacrilegious implications. Terms and conditions apply. From the makers of Butt Hurt Butt Paste, we bring you the ultimate solution to all your MAGA-induced discomfort. Introducing MAGA Tears.
And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed, it'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You gotta get out and vote.
Oh my, another unhinged Trump rally. Looks like you could use some MAGA tears.
Do you often find yourself dealing with the aches and pains brought on by the incessant whining of Trump supporters? Does the constant barrage of conspiracy theories and fake news claims leave you feeling, well, a little butthurt? MAGA Tears is especially formulated to soothe the symptoms of political fatigue, frustration, and general butthurt caused by excessive exposure to Trump rallies, social media rants, and endless cries of stop the steal.
Hi, I'm Kamala Harris, and I know a thing or two about dealing with persistent irritants. When life gives you MAGA supporters, make MAGA Tears.
Whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or just someone who values a good night's sleep, MAGA Tears is the perfect addition to your self-care routine.
Just a few drops of MAGA Tears, and you'll feel the tension melt away faster than you can say fake news.
Wow. See how well it works even with another news story about how weird J.D. Vance is. She is still happy. Excellent job, MAGA Tears.
Order now, and we'll throw in a free travel-sized bottle, perfect for those unexpected encounters with a MAGA enthusiast on the go.
And remember, MAGA Tears is not just for your mental well-being. It's also great for your skin. Made from 100% organic, all-natural Trump supporter tears, it's packed with nutrients and antioxidants.
MAGA Tears, because we all deserve a little peace and quiet. Available now at all major retailers.
Get your MAGA Tears today and start living a life free of butthurt.
Warning: side effects may include sudden bouts of laughter, uncontrollable joy, and an overall sense of well-being. Not recommended for use by actual MAGA supporters.
Call and order yours today. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Support the artists you enjoy.
Well, I woke up
up this morning, feathers in a frizz, check the egg market. Look at this biz, they say it's bird flu, keeping me inside, but the price of my eggs, woo, gone worldwide. I'm clucking mad, yeah, I'm losing my mind. Lay an egg today, you'll be paying in dimes. Inflation's high, my coop's in a bind. I'm a golden hen, but I ain't seeing a dime. Farmer Joe's out there counting his stacks while I'm stuck in quarantine watching my back. Don't sneeze, don't cough, don't ruffle your wings, or the whole dang farm gets government strings. I'm clucking mad, yeah, I'm losing my mind. Lay an egg today, you'll be paying in dimes. Black market yolks, well, I wouldn't advise, but I know a rooster who can get you a supply. They say I'm infected, they say I'm unclean, but you'll still drop $5 for eggs, sight unseen. Baby, it's wild while I sit in this cage like a felon on trial. So tell me now, who's the real crook? Me or the dude who just sold you that egg for a book? If I gotta risk my beak just to get paid, then call me Scarface. Say hello to my little eggs. I'm clucking mad, yeah, I'm losing my mind. Lay an egg today, you'll be paying in dimes. Bird flu's bad, but my patience is worse. If I don't get freedom, I'll start laying some curves. Hop, hop. Somebody give me a lawyer and a biscuit.
Welcome to Klepper's Corner, folks, the show that covers America's favorite pastime, fighting itself. Today, we're diving into Trump's latest magnificent achievement, the trade war to end all trade wars, brought to you by the newest national holiday, Liberation Day. On April 2nd, President Trump, yes, he's back like that rash you thought disappeared, announced sweeping tariffs because apparently nothing says freedom like economic isolation. Let's start simple. A baseline tariff of 10% on almost every single thing entering the U.S. You name it. Avocados, shoes, your anime figurines, everything except maybe Trump's MAGA hats. Those are sacred, but that's just the appetizer. For the main course, Trump ordered some extra spicy reciprocal tariffs, also known as I know you are, but what am I economics. China gets a hefty 54% tariff. Why? Trade imbalances, IP theft, and fentanyl production, or as Trump calls it, China being super unfair, really unfair, very nasty people, folks. The EU isn't spared either, slapped with a 20% tariff. And why? Because Europe has a 10% car tariff. That's right. Trump's math is so good, he doubled it. It's MAGA math. Japan faces 24% because they won't let in our potatoes. How dare you, Japan? Idaho has feelings. India, with tariffs so high they sound made up, 70% on cars, 80% on rice, gets hit with 26%, maybe up to 46%. It's like Trump's playing tariff roulette, but the wheel is rigged and the dealer keeps changing the rules. Even friendly Taiwan gets 32%, except for semiconductors, because you don't bite the hand that feeds your iPhone addiction. Vietnam gets a shocking 46%. I guess Trump realized his MAGA hats were manufactured there. Talk about biting the hand that sews. But wait, there's more. Steel and aluminum tariffs of 25%, cars at 25%, and if you buy Venezuelan oil, boom, another 25%. It's like Oprah's favorite things, but in reverse. You get a tariff and you get a tariff. Everybody gets a tariff. Even beloved allies like the UK, Brazil, and South Korea aren't safe. Trump's trade policy now reads less like economics and more like the guest list for an awkward Thanksgiving dinner. And in classic Trump style, there's flexibility, meaning if he likes you or you promise to build a Trump Tower in your capital city, he might give you a break. The market's response? Dow down 2.3%, S&P down 3.4% because apparently Wall Street hates winning. Or maybe it's just allergic to economic chaos. So, buckle up, America. Thanks to Trump, it's about to get more expensive to be great again. But hey, at least we're winning, right? Until next time, folks, remember, when it comes to trade wars, the first casualty is your wallet.
Blame it on my tweets, blame it on my memes, blame it on the fact I live inside my own dreams, blame it on the rockets, the Dogecoin schemes. Oops, did I just buy another whole team? I know I'm a genius, that's what I've heard, but sometimes I say things that are just absurd. I gave that Nazi salute, don't make me explain, I'll just laugh it off and blame it on my brain. Blame it on the spectrum, got me acting wild, blame it on the autism, I'm just a quirky child. Blame it on the, yeah, you know it's all good. I launched a Tesla into space for no reason, changed Twitter's name like it's trees and seasons, say I gave a salute, they're like, what the heck, bro? I was just adjusting my arm. Chill, let it go. Sometimes I ghost my meetings just to troll. Sometimes I buy whole companies on a roll. And if I cause a scene, please don't be alarmed. It's not my fault. Hey, I'm Elon Musk, I'm charmed. Blame it on the spectrum, got me acting wild. Blame it on the autism, I'm just a quirky child. Blame it on the rockets, the fame, the Mars quest. Blame it on the, look, I'm just the best. Yeah, I'm awkward and rich. Sometimes I act like a crazy bitch, but come on, I'm a pioneer, a techie king. Blame it on the brainwaves, it's my thing. Blame it on the spectrum, got me acting wild. Blame it on the autism, I'm just a quirky child. Blame it on the chaos, the memes, the weird flex. Blame it on the, what's coming next. So when I mess up, remember my name. Elon Musk, baby, and I play my own game. If I seem unhinged or maybe just mean, blame it on the autism, it's my escape routine.
Welcome back to Klepper's Corner, Trump Merica edition, where we highlight the laws that make us all question democracy and sometimes basic sanity. Here's the top 20. Maryland, no fortune telling allowed. In Maryland, fortune telling is banned, so predicting Trump's next indictment could cost you $500. Tarot's out, but don't worry, QAnon prophecies remain totally legal. 19, Massachusetts. Keep the anthem traditional. In Massachusetts, messing up the anthem will get you fined $100. Thankfully, Trump's dance moves at Mar-a-Lago aren't illegal yet, just morally questionable. 18, Indiana, no cold drinks at liquor stores. Indiana prohibits cold soda in liquor stores. You can get cold beer, but not a chilled Coke. It's as confusing as Trump's endorsement record. 17, Kansas, don't shoot rabbits from a motorboat. Kansas has outlawed hunting rabbits from motorboats. Honestly, rabbit swimming sounds about as likely as Trump telling the truth under oath. 16, Alabama, no fake mustaches in church. Alabama bans fake mustaches in church. Seems Alabama feared facial hair distractions more than they fear voting rights. 15, Illinois, eating during a fire is forbidden. Chicago says you can't eat if a building is on fire. Imagine having to write down, stop chewing, you're on fire. Sounds like Trump ignoring legal advice. 14, North Carolina, no elephants plowing cotton fields. Elephants can't plow cotton fields in North Carolina. Now, elephants trampling democracy, that remains fully acceptable. 13, Louisiana, no surprise pizza pranks. Louisiana outlawed surprise pizza deliveries. Unsolicited pizzas, illegal. Unsolicited campaign donations from questionable foreign sources, let's not get technical. 12, Oklahoma, no making ugly faces at dogs in Oklahoma. Making ugly faces at dogs could land you in jail. Ironically, making ugly policies at humans can still land you in the White House. 11, Connecticut, don't educate your dog. Hartford says it's illegal to educate your dog, which makes sense considering we can't even educate some humans. 10, Alaska, stay out of bars if you're drunk. Alaska bans entering a bar if you're already drunk, effectively criminalizing being drunk in a bar. About as logical as asking Trump for tax advice. 9. Kentucky, no ice cream in your back pocket. In Kentucky, no ice cream cones in your back pocket. This law protects horses from thieves. No word yet on laws protecting democracy from kleptocrats. 8. Texas, believe in a higher power or don't run for office. Texas law technically bans atheists from office. And judging by recent political events, belief in reality is also optional. 7. Florida, dwarf tossing ban. Florida specifically banned dwarf tossing. Yet tossing around democracy like a beach ball remains a state pastime. 6. Idaho, cannibalism is usually illegal. Idaho explicitly bans cannibalism, mostly, but political cannibalism, still thriving nationwide. 5. Wisconsin, quality cheese only. Please, Wisconsin cheese must legally be delicious. Fake cheese is outlawed, but fake electors, jury's still out. 4. California, don't eat the frog. In California, you can't eat a frog that dies in a frog jumping contest. Democracy might croak, but your frog better not. 3. Georgia, forks off the fried chicken. Gainesville, Georgia bans eating fried chicken with a fork. You got to get your hands dirty, which might be why Trump steers clear of Gainesville. 2. Arizona, donkey in the bathtub. Illegal Arizona bans donkeys sleeping in bathtubs. Maybe they confused donkeys with politicians who, let's be honest, sleep everywhere. 1. And the winner, Washington's protection law for Bigfoot. You can't hunt Bigfoot, yet hunting voter fraud myths, fully endorsed. That's Trump Merica, folks. Absurdity we can believe in. Until next time, keep those frogs safe and your donkeys dry. Welcome back to Klepper's Corner. What the hell just happened in Trump Merica this week? Spoiler, a lot. So buckle up, grab your emergency whiskey, and let's dive into the flaming dumpster of geopolitical genius, also known as Donald Trump's foreign policy. Sunday started strong with Donald Trump, noted relationship expert, publicly pissed off at Vladimir Putin over stalled peace talks, because nothing motivates a Russian dictator like hearing he's lost his bestie status. Then Trump threatened to bomb Iran over a nuclear deal, which makes sense because nothing says peace like casually tweeting peace or bombs. Trump's foreign policy is apparently just rock, paper, explosions. Meanwhile, Trump faced a mysterious signal leak from within his circle. Pro tip, if your secret chat about tariffs or bombing runs leaks, maybe try using an app more secure than Signal, more like noise. Monday was classic Trump Merica. Donald threatened Ukraine over minerals. That's right, rare earths. Trump literally threatening a comedian turned president over shiny rocks. This guy thinks diplomacy is playing Minecraft. He also casually dropped hints about running for a third term. Constitution, never heard of her. Trump clearly thinks the 22nd Amendment is just a suggestion, like don't drink bleach. By Tuesday, Trump had doubled down on tariff threats against Russia. Nothing says diplomacy like punishing Putin by making gas expensive for Americans. And then came Liberation Day, Trump's plan to liberate us from a functioning economy. Markets tanked faster than Rudy Giuliani at a press conference. On Wednesday, Trump proudly announced sweeping tariffs against basically everyone. China, the EU, Japan. It's like Oprah, but instead of cars, it's tariffs. You get a tariff and you get a tariff. America first, economy last. Naturally, the world reacted calmly. Just kidding. China planned retaliation. The EU screamed major blow, and Japan politely considered seppuku. Thursday kicked off with auto tariffs at 25%. Congrats, Trump fans. Your dream of paying Mercedes prices for a used Honda Accord is now reality. Then, the Elon Musk confusion. Despite rumors, Musk stayed on Trump's Doge team, because who better to help navigate an economic crisis than the guy famous for tweeting stock crashes? The tariffs hit, and the markets plummeted, marking their worst day since the pandemic. So, congrats, Trump. You've officially created COVID-level panic without any virus. Despite global fury, Trump doubled down, claiming the panic was short-term, promising a golden age for U.S. manufacturing, which sounds like promising a buffet after burning down the kitchen. Finally, Congress decided to drug test Musk and Trump's inner circle. Probably wise, considering these economic strategies clearly involve substances not covered by Medicare. So that's your Trump Merica WTH week, where every day is April Fool's, but the joke's on us. Join us next week to find out if America survives another 7 days of winning.
I lost my job at the factory, they sent it overseas. But someone said the problem is the folks with PhDs. They told me vote for billionaires, they'll fix my broken life. Now my bills are stacking higher, and I can't afford my wife. Oh, natural stupidity, it's a badge I proudly wear. Blaming everyone but me for the mess I helped prepare. Keep falling for the same old lies on the TV every night. Natural stupidity, it's my God-given right. They said the rich need tax cuts to trickle down some cash, but all I got was potholes and some expired cans of hash. The hospitals are closing, but I'm still holding strong, 'cause blaming poor folks and the immigrants is where I belong. Oh, natural stupidity, it's a virtue, don't you know? If I see a fact I don't agree with, I'll just let it go. Who needs health care? Who needs schools? Who needs a planet too? Natural stupidity tells me what to do. I'm mad about the gas prices, but I drive a truck so big. I watch cable news all day long while they dance a little jig. Why's my paycheck getting smaller? I ask with deep disdain. But instead of blaming policies, I curse the weatherman again. Oh, natural stupidity, it's the anchor of my soul. Blaming everyone but me, that's how I keep control. I'll vote against my interests and cheer while they proceed to take away my future for a billionaire's greed. Now they're banning all the books while the roads are full of cracks. They told me if I hate enough, I'll get my country back. But every year it's harder just to pay my rent on time. And somehow this is all the fault of folks not in their prime. Oh, natural stupidity, it's the gospel I believe. Blaming others for my woes helps my ego to relieve. And if my life keeps crumbling, I'll know just who to blame. It's not the ones in power, it's the ones they taught me to shame. So here's to natural stupidity, we'll ride it till we're broke. It's cheaper than accountability, and it sure beats thinking, folks.
Good evening, truth seekers, doom scrollers, and the 37% of Americans who still think the FDA is a fast food chain. Well, welcome to Klepper's Corner Weekly Update, where we take the week's top stories, cram them into a blender full of Red Bull and existential dread, and hit puree. This week, oh, just your average 7 days of late-stage democracy. Trump's slapping tariffs on anything with four wheels. Myanmar got rocked, literally, by a 7.2 earthquake. China is playing catch me if you can with hypersonic missiles, and Elon Musk delayed a rocket launch because apparently even billionaires forget to twist the gas cap. And somewhere in all this, Trump hinted at a third term, because who needs the Constitution when you've got the vibes of a Bond villain and the legal acumen of a Facebook meme? Strap in, folks. We're heading into the heart of the nonsense. This is Klepper's Corner, where satire meets reality, gives it a wedgie, and runs off before NATO sanctions it. Tariff and error. Trump is doing what Trump does best, casually nuking the economy while flirting with dictatorship like it's prom night. 25% auto tariff, folks. That's right. Now your Honda Civic costs as much as a Tesla, but still doesn't come with a Bluetooth that works. Shaken, not stabilized. 7.2 earthquake hits Myanmar, Jordan. A 7.2 earthquake in Myanmar, where the political structure is already shakier than Elon Musk's PR team, and now buildings down, power out, and the military junta's response is just, we'll get back to you. Red Dawn hypersonic remix. China tests hypersonic missile. China's new missile can supposedly travel 5 times the speed of sound, meaning it'll reach D.C. before Mitch McConnell can blink. And just like that, we're all in a real-life Tom Clancy novel, only this time, the bad guys read the manual. Gaza Groundhog Day, Israeli strikes kill 42, Rafah evacuation. Israel is doing its usual spring cleaning, by which I mean airstrikes, while also displacing another 50,000 people. It's like musical chairs, except there's no music, and the chairs are all rubble. Swamp drained straight into the water supply. Trump purges over 1,200 health agency employees. You remember the CDC? You know, the people who used to keep us from dying? Well, now they've been replaced by some guy who sold ivermectin on Etsy and once tweeted, "Dr. Fauci is a lizard." Cool, cool. Midwest apocalypse bingo tornadoes tear through Midwest. 8 dead. 15 tornadoes in one storm system. I guess the Midwest finally said, you know what? I will try Florida's weather and see how it feels. Spoiler, it feels like hell. Control plus Alt plus Putin, EU sanctions, Russia over Ukraine, cyber attacks. Jordan, Russia hacked Ukraine's grid and knocked out power for 1 million people. Meanwhile, the EU is hitting back the only way it knows how. Firmly worded disappointment. Yeah, that'll show them. Space, the delayed frontier. SpaceX Starship launch delayed due to fuel valve glitch. SpaceX postponed a launch because of a glitch, but don't worry, Elon tweeted, quote, "Starship still sexier than your mom's Prius." Real leadership right there, folks. Final thought. From Trump's third-term dreams to literal earth-shaking events and Elon Musk's rocket doing its best impression of my ex's commitment issues, one thing's clear. 2025 is the year chaos looked at us and said, "You up?"
Earl, my boss told me to have a good day yesterday.
That's mighty nice of him.
Yeah, so I went home.
You ever try to catch fog?
Once.
Well, I just did, and I missed.
Hey, I told my wife she was drawing her eyebrows too high.
Let me guess. She looked surprised?
Buddy, she looked like she walked in on Bigfoot flossing.
I bought a thesaurus the other day. Total rip-off.
Yeah?
All the pages were blank. I have no words for it.
You know what's got 4 legs and 1 arm?
I don't think I want to know.
A pit bull coming back from the park.
You ever see 2 blind guys fighting?
Nope, but sounds like a swing and a miss.
You should have seen their faces when I said, my money's on the one with the knife.
So apparently Elon Musk's mad folks are calling Teslas swastikars.
Oh, he's furious, ain't he? I got a vasectomy.
Okay.
But my girlfriend still got pregnant. Apparently, all it does is change the color of the baby.
Oh, how do we tell him? I asked my German buddy if he knew the square root of 81. He said 9.
Called in sick this morning. Whispered, "Boss, I have a week off."
What'd he say?
"You have a week off?"
So?
I said, "Really? Thanks, boss. See you next week."
Girlfriend told me she had a Brazilian.
You good with math?
Nope, but that sounds like a lot of people.
Wife left me 'cause I'm insecure.
Oh, man.
Wait, she's back. She just went to get coffee.
When my kid was 4, he heard brushing alone isn't enough to fight cavities.
So?
We've been brushing as a team for 3 years. Don't you dare tell him.
I broke up with Lorraine after she found out about Claire Lee.
So?
I can see Claire Lee now. Lorraine is gone.
My brother quit his weightlifting job, said he wasn't strong enough.
Handed in his 2-week notice. Asked my kid what he learned in school.
What'd he say?
Apparently not enough, 'cause I gotta go back tomorrow.
Asked my daughter for the phone book. She laughed and handed me her iPhone.
So?
The spider's dead, the iPhone's broken, and now my daughter's pissed.
Found my wife's Tinder profile.
Oh no.
She said she's fun to be around. Lies.
My son came back from college for spring break. I hugged him and said, "Inturi."
What?
Long time. No see.
My daughter asked who my favorite vampire was.
You said?
The Count from Sesame Street. She said he doesn't count.
He does. That's literally all he does. My wife explained mansplaining to me the other day.
What do you call that?
Shellaborating.
You know what you call a cult that's hard to get into?
Don't say it.
Difficult.
My kid asked why I groan every time I stand up.
What did your wife say?
It's 'cause he's a grown man.
Guy goes to the doc and says, I fart every minute, but they never smell.
Doc says,
here's some pills for your sinuses. And I'm opening a window.
why shouldn't you brush your teeth with your left hand?
Why?
A toothbrush works better.
They said I'd never be a poet 'cause I'm dyslexic.
And?
I made 3 jugs and a vase.
Got hit with a violin, clarinet, then a French horn on my walk.
Sounds like an orchestrated attack. Wife called and said if I'm not home in 10 minutes, dinner goes to the dog.
So?
I was home, 5. I ain't risking the dog.
At a funeral, I asked to say a word. I stood up and said plethora.
That means a lot. What did Yoda say when he saw himself in 4K?
Oh boy.
HDMI.
Someone broke into my house last night and stole eggs. Left a pot of warm water.
Poachers? At my job interview, they asked me to describe myself in 1 word.
What'd you say?
Bad at following simple instructions.
Wife yelled, do you ever get stabbing pains like someone has a voodoo doll of you?
You said.
No, she said. How about now?
A priest, a monk, and a rabbit walk into a clinic.
Rabbit says,
I think I'm a typo.
10 plus 10 is 20. 11 plus 11?
22! Reading a horror story in Braille.
Yeah?
I can feel something bad is gonna happen.
Wife said, what starts with F and ends in K.
What did you say?
No, it doesn't.
Dogs bark 500 times a day.
That's a rough estimate. Why is girlfriend 1 word, but best friend 2?
Because your best friend gives you space. I got a pen that writes underwater.
Nice.
It writes other words, too.
Wife said I ruined her birthday.
Did you?
I didn't even know it was her birthday.
Meteorologist who invented wind chill died at 86.
Felt like 75. A polar bear walks into a bar and says, I'll take a rum and a Coke.
Bartender says, why the pause?
I was born with them.
My girlfriend left me a note that said this isn't working.
So?
I called her and said the fridge works just fine.
Woman wakes up from coma after 6 months.
Doctor says she had twins. Brother named them.
Oh no.
Girl's name, Denise. Boy's name, Denifew. Wife yelled, you never listen to a word I say.
What a weird way to start a conversation. Got an email from Google Earth. Said they read maps backwards.
That's just spam. Saw my wife yelling at the TV. Don't go in the church, you moron.
Wedding video again? Wife kicked me out for bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impressions.
You'll be back?
I always return.
Daughter asked why Luke climbed into the tauntaun.
I said to keep warm.
How warm?
Luke, warm. Well, we're just about out of jokes.
And probably out of wives, too, if they see this episode.
Hello, America. It's me, your favorite president, better than Lincoln, better than Washington, back with the greatest, most incredible product you've ever seen. Folks, they call me the Teflon Don because nothing sticks to me. Not lawsuits, not indictments, not bad press, nothing. And now, I'm passing that magic on to you with the all-new Teflon Don nonstick pan set. These pans are so nonstick, you could fry an egg on them while dodging subpoenas. Why, these pancakes, perfect like my election wins. And the cleanup, it's easier than avoiding accountability. Just one wipe and it's like it never happened. Believe me, no one wipes better than me. Maybe Melania, but she doesn't cook.
Before Teflon Don's pans, everything stuck to my old cookware. Bacon, eggs, and, let's be honest, my alimony payments. But now, nothing sticks. Just like Trump, I'm living the nonstick dream.
I even burned dinner last night, but with these pans, it just slid right off. It's like my cooking crimes were never committed.
And folks, the Teflon Don pan set isn't just any ordinary cookware. It's made with 100% American steel, the best steel, beautiful steel, and it's coated with a special exclusive formula that's tougher than a New York Times investigation.
Teflon Don pans are coated with a proprietary blend of gold, legal loopholes, and just a hint of Diet Coke. It's truly unstickable.
See this steak cooked to perfection, just like my business deals. And you know what else? This pan is so good, it'll have your meals sliding off faster than my approval ratings.
Call now and get the Teflon Don nonstick pan set for just $99.99. But wait, there's more. If you order within the next 10 minutes, you'll get an autographed photo of Donald Trump golfing and a free bottle of Teflon Don's nonstick spray, guaranteed to make anything, tax audits, jury summons, or tough stains, slide right off.
Folks, I don't just endorse these pans, I use them every day. Well, not me personally, let's be honest, I have people for that. But these pans are the best, the absolute best. Order now, and remember, with Teflon Don, you'll never get stuck.
Tariffs, tremors, and tantrums, America in a blender. Welcome to Klepper's Corner, the only weekly show brave enough to say, hey, remember when the biggest thing we worried about was a fly on Mike Pence's head? This week, Trump declares war on imports, Mother Earth gives Myanmar a not-so-gentle shake, Tesla drivers suddenly realize they've bought political bumper cars, and we learn about climate change from whaling logbooks. Because when it comes to saving the planet, nothing says progress like flipping through the journals of 1800s murdery sailors. Trump kicked off the week teasing massive tariffs like your uncle teases his new workout plan, confident, confusing, and likely to collapse your entire economy. By midweek, the tariffs dropped like Elon Musk's approval ratings, slapping nearly every imported good. That's right, everything. Forget iPhones, bananas, or your French cheese addiction. If it's not made in Magaland, it's getting taxed harder than a weed gummy at Coachella. Even Republican senators were like, wait, we like Canada. They gave us maple syrup and Ryan Reynolds. And by Thursday, the markets dropped faster than Rudy Giuliani's hair dye. Meanwhile, the rest of the world said, hey, don't forget, we're unstable too. Serbia's parliament got smoke-bombed like a goth rave in a library. The Pakistani Taliban launched a deadly attack as a Philippine jet vanished, confirming your uncle's theory that aliens just hate Southeast Asia. And Yemen's Houthis claim they downed a U.S. drone, proving that even in war, you can still win with DIY YouTube tutorials. Myanmar was rocked by a massive earthquake. While the world tried to respond with compassion, the U.S. forgot to RSVP, USAID, MIA. But China, they showed up like the overachieving kid in class. We brought food, water, and a power plant. Also, could we interest you in a Belt and Road? Amid the chaos, India celebrated Navratri, 9 days of devotion, color coordination, and goddess worship. We went from gray to white to red to orange to yellow to green to blue. Honestly, Navratri might be the only global event this week that didn't involve yelling, sanctions, or Elon Musk. The newly formed Department of Government Efficiency, aka DOGE, started laying off folks at the CDC, FDA, and NIH. Because if there's one guy who really understands public health, it's the man who smoked weed on a podcast and thought renaming Twitter was a good idea. Meanwhile, Trump's rebooting family detention like it's a gritty Netflix spinoff. Coming this fall, iced, no one leaves the holding cell. Saturday brought a split-screen America on one channel, the NCAA Final Four, where athletes fought for victory. On every other corner, $1 protests where Americans fought for, basic sanity. Hands off! Rallies broke out across the nation aimed at Trump, Musk, tariffs, ICE, and probably that one dude who still wears skinny jeans with a wallet chain. Even Laura Loomer chimed in, celebrating Trump's national security purge like she just found Q in her alphabet soup. Oracle had not one but 2 data breaches this week. At this point, our national security is held together with duct tape, hopes, and passwords like admin123. And in lighter news, gamers rejoiced over Donkey Kong Bonanza, starring a young Pauline. Because nothing says escapism like imagining a world where your biggest problem is a monkey stealing your girlfriend. And finally, our planet's future now relies on whaling logbooks. Yes, turns out 19th century whale hunters left notes so detailed, scientists are using them to study climate change. So remember, kids, kill fewer whales, take better notes. That's all for this week, folks. If your economy's collapsing, your power grid's failing, or you're forced to eat government cheese-flavored tofu thanks to tariffs, just remember, at least it's not 2020 again. I'm Jordan Klepper. This has been your weekly dose of reality, sarcasm, and satire. See you next time, unless I get fired by Doge, too.
Woke up this morning feeling kinda rough. My comb's all droopy, yeah, times is tough. Feathers falling out, Lord, I'm sneezing too. Ain't no doubt about it, I got the bird flu. Oh, I got the bird flu blues, yeah. Ain't no cure, just bad news, yeah. The farmer's got gloves and a nervous stare. I clucked for some help, but he don't care. My best straw bed, said I ain't sharing nothing with a chicken half dead. The ducks all laughing, saying it ain't our fault, but I swear that Mallard gave me this call. Excuse me, y'all. Oh, I'm screwed. I used to be proud, I used to be strong. Now the whole damn coop says I won't last long. Now listen, y'all. I used to be the king of this here yard. Wake up the farm with my golden crow. Now I can't even manage a cock-a-doodle-doo. Lord, just take me now. The vet pulled up, oh man, what a sight. With a big old needle, this ain't feeling right. I made a break for it, flapped my wings, tripped on a hay bale. Now I can't feel a thing. Oh, I got the bird flu blues, yeah. Somebody save me, I got too much to lose, yeah. If I make it out, I swear I'll be true. No more kissing ducks, no more shady coops.
Welcome back to Klepper's Corner, and folks, buckle up because we're covering Trump Merica WTF week. The week President Trump looked democracy square in the eyes and said, you know what, democracy, it's not me, it's you. March 30th, Trump, freshly inaugurated for a second time, God help us, starts dropping hints about going for a third term, casually mentioning constitutional loopholes. Constitutional loopholes? That's like me saying there's a loophole in my marriage vows that lets me date Beyonce. It's not there, and if it was, believe me, Jay-Z would have found it first. But wait, Trump wasn't done. He also threatened tariffs on Russian oil because Putin was pissing him off. That's right, tariffs on Russia. Did Trump just realize Russia isn't just the name of a golf course in New Jersey? March 31st, Trump signs an executive order targeting the ticketing industry because forget healthcare or poverty. What this country really needs is cheaper Taylor Swift tickets. Can't fix inflation, but maybe you can afford nosebleed seats for the Eras Tour. Unfortunately, his tariff talk spooked the market so badly that even crypto bros were checking their bank accounts. Analysts warned of recession. Proving Trump's economic strategy is so much winning, you're begging him to stop. April 1st, happy April Fool's Day, except it wasn't funny for almost 24 states that sued Trump for billions in health funding cuts. Who knew Trump's great health care plan was just removing health care? Genius. April 2nd, Trump unveils sweeping tariffs 10% across the board because nothing says America first, like making sure America's economy tanks first. Trump insisted it's about fairness, which, coming from him, is like Ronald McDonald advocating for a vegan diet. April 3rd, markets plunged. Dow down 1,600 points, NASDAQ crashing worse than a Tesla on autopilot. Investors were terrified, economists crying, and Trump, well, he was golfing at the LIV golf tournament, presumably looking for America's lost retirement funds in a sand trap. Also, the Pentagon announced a probe into Trump's use of Signal for planning military strikes. This is like finding out your parents communicate via Snapchat, disturbing, irresponsible, and frankly, nobody wants to see that. April 4th, China retaliates hard. 34% tariffs on U.S. goods and curbs on rare earth minerals. But don't worry, Trump bravely extended the TikTok ban deadline by 75 days. America's economy might be collapsing, but at least your TikTok dances are safe for now. Meanwhile, in immigration news, Trump's administration mistakenly deported a Maryland man to an El Salvadoran prison. Trump's DOJ responded maturely by suspending their own lawyer for not aggressively defending the mistake. At this point, Trump's legal strategy is just, oopsie, deported again. April 4th continued. The LA Dodgers visited the White House, but some players were so uncomfortable around Trump, it looked like a Thanksgiving dinner after your uncle starts explaining cryptocurrency. April 5th, massive nationwide protests erupted with over 1,400 events under the banner Hands Off. The biggest rally since Trump returned, basically Coachella for people who read the news. Adding insult to injury, Trump halted weapons sales to Ukraine because sure, when Russia's your tariff buddy, who needs allies? April 6th. Trump's administration doubled down on tariffs, arguing short-term market losses are fine because eventually we'll all have jobs making overpriced American-made flip phones again. Also today, DOJ lawyer Erez Ruveni suspended indefinitely for failing to defend Trump's wrongful deportation. Imagine being fired for doing your job morally. Under Trump, that's basically a performance review. And finally, market chaos continued. Reports warned tariffs could drive iPhone prices to $2,300. At this point, it's cheaper to just fly to China and build it yourself. That wraps up Trump Merica WTF Week, where winning means losing spectacularly and every American's 401k dreams go to die. Remember, folks, democracy might be tough, but tariffs are tougher. Until next time, stay skeptical, America. God knows you'll need it. Tariffs, tremors, and tantrums, America in a blender. Welcome to Klepper's Corner, the only weekly show brave enough to say, hey, remember when the biggest thing we worried about was a fly on Mike Pence's head? This week, Trump declares war on imports, Mother Earth gives Myanmar a not-so-gentle shake, Tesla drivers suddenly realize they've bought political bumper cars, and we learn about climate change from whaling logbooks. Because when it comes to saving the planet, nothing says progress like flipping through the journals of 1800s murdery sailors. Trump kicked off the week teasing massive tariffs like your uncle teases his new workout plan, confident, confusing, and likely to collapse your entire economy. By midweek, the tariffs dropped like Elon Musk's approval ratings, slapping nearly every imported good. That's right, everything. Forget iPhones, bananas, or your French cheese addiction. If it's not made in Magaland, it's getting taxed harder than a weed gummy at Coachella. Even Republican senators were like, wait, we like Canada. They gave us maple syrup and Ryan Reynolds. And by Thursday, the markets dropped faster than Rudy Giuliani's hair dye. Meanwhile, the rest of the world said, hey, don't forget, we're unstable too. Serbia's parliament got smoke-bombed like a goth rave in a library. The Pakistani Taliban launched a deadly attack as a Philippine jet vanished, confirming your uncle's theory that aliens just hate Southeast Asia. And Yemen's Houthis claim they downed a U.S. drone, proving that even in war, you can still win with DIY YouTube tutorials. Myanmar was rocked by a massive earthquake. While the world tried to respond with compassion, the U.S. forgot to RSVP, USAID, MIA. But China, they showed up like the overachieving kid in class. We brought food, water, and a power plant. Also, could we interest you in a Belt and Road? Amid the chaos, India celebrated Navratri, 9 days of devotion, color coordination, and goddess worship. We went from gray to white to red to orange to yellow to green to blue. Honestly, Navratri might be the only global event this week that didn't involve yelling, sanctions, or Elon Musk. The newly formed Department of Government Efficiency, aka DOGE, started laying off folks at the CDC, FDA, and NIH. Because if there's one guy who really understands public health, it's the man who smoked weed on a podcast and thought renaming Twitter was a good idea. Meanwhile, Trump's rebooting family detention like it's a gritty Netflix spinoff. Coming this fall, iced, no one leaves the holding cell. Saturday brought a split-screen America on one channel, the NCAA Final Four, where athletes fought for victory. On every other corner, $1 protests where Americans fought for, basic sanity. Hands off! Rallies broke out across the nation aimed at Trump, Musk, tariffs, ICE, and probably that one dude who still wears skinny jeans with a wallet chain. Even Laura Loomer chimed in, celebrating Trump's national security purge like she just found Q in her alphabet soup. Oracle had not one, but 2 data breaches this week. At this point, our national security is held together with duct tape, hopes, and passwords like admin123. And in lighter news, gamers rejoiced over Donkey Kong Bonanza, starring a young Pauline. Because nothing says escapism like imagining a world where your biggest problem is a monkey stealing your girlfriend. And finally, our planet's future now relies on whaling logbooks. Yes, turns out 19th century whale hunters left notes so detailed, scientists are using them to study climate change. So remember, kids, kill fewer whales, take better notes. That's all for this week, folks. If your economy's collapsing, your power grid's failing, or you're forced to eat government cheese-flavored tofu thanks to tariffs, just remember, at least it's not 2020 again. I'm Jordan Klepper. This has been your weekly dose of reality, sarcasm, and satire. See you next time, unless I get fired by Doge, too. Welcome back to Klepper's Corner, weird news, where the headlines are as unpredictable as Elon Musk's baby names. We've got genetically reanimated wolves, toilet real estate, alien sightings, and at least one Florida man proving that Darwinism is more of a suggestion than a rule. Let's get weird. First up, Colossal Biosciences, because no one told them Jurassic Park was a cautionary tale, has unveiled the world's first genetically engineered dire wolf in over 10,000 years. Scientists combined ancient DNA and modern gene editing, creating a living, breathing, very sharp-toothed homage to every medieval fantasy fan's dream. Critics call it reckless. Supporters call it a breakthrough. I call it a lawsuit waiting to happen when someone tries to walk this thing through a dog park. One Redditor said, and I quote, "Finally, something scarier than dating apps." Meanwhile, in the Minimalist Olympics, a young woman in China has gone viral for turning a 6-square-foot workplace toilet into her home. Rent $7. Real estate agents are calling it cozy, and millennials are calling it relatable. She's got a bed, a fan, a microwave, and more patience than I'll ever have. She calls it a victory. I call it what happens when your landlord reads too much Marie Kondo. In Bangkok, 28-year-old Napajit Min Sambunsete was discovered by a Russian photographer and became an overnight fashion icon. From street sweeper to cover girl in 48 hours. That's the kind of career pivot LinkedIn dreams of. Experts call her look raw elegance. I call it proof you should never underestimate someone holding a broom. Netflix is already eyeing a limited series called Swiffer Dreams. In Massachusetts, Jazam's toy store owners, Joanne and Dean, went full doomsday prepper and dropped $400,000 hoarding toys ahead of Trump's new tariffs. While the rest of us were panic buying toilet paper and ramen, they were panic buying puzzles and plush dinosaurs. Economists call it strategic. Kids call it the best Christmas ever. Santa's Union just filed a grievance. RFK Jr., longtime vaccine skeptic, attended a funeral for a second unvaccinated child in Texas and shocked everyone by promoting the measles vaccine. That's like Dracula showing up at a garlic festival and saying, you know what, this is actually good for you. Even his supporters are confused. One guy on X said, I just deleted 200 tweets and cried into my colloidal silver. A horrifying and completely baffling incident unfolded in NYC when a foreign national attacked 4 children with a meat cleaver. Police intervened and shot the suspect. It's a grim reminder that 2025 is shaping up to be a Mad Libs horror movie directed by the internet. In Ireland, villagers reported lights and strange sounds and immediately jumped to alien invasion. Forget satellites or drones. This was full Area 51 Celtic edition. Some say it's mass hysteria. Others blame high-proof whiskey. But if you've never tried explaining crop circles to a sheep, you're missing out. And over in Massachusetts again, seriously, what's in the water there? A man stole a toy store's promotional mini tank and joyroad it down Main Street. He got 1 block, crashed into a parked Prius, and was immediately arrested. He said he wanted to liberate the playground. America's got a lot of problems, but lack of imagination is not one of them. A Tennessee town hit by flooding didn't blame the Army Corps of Engineers or climate change. They blamed a woman called the Weather Witch. She was allegedly seen cursing the skies. This is why America can't have nice things or rational disaster response. President Trump threatened a 50% tariff on China, which immediately tanked the markets and launched the hashtag tariff tantrum meme wave. My favorite, a toddler version of Trump punching a piñata labeled global economy. Wall Street trembled, Twitter rejoiced, and somewhere financial planner just burst into flames. Like in Ohio, a man claimed his pet rock, Rocky, changes color to predict rain. And during this week's floods, he was right. Now the internet's full of copycats placing gravel in jars and waiting for signs. Meteorologists are furious. Quartz dealers are thrilled. Coding site Geeks for Geeks was reportedly banned from Google's index, so they pulled the ultimate tech flex. They bought Google Ads to get back in. That's like getting kicked out of a wedding, then renting a billboard next to the reception. Coders call it a win. Google calls it Tuesday. In India, the Bhairav temple banned alcohol offerings. Devotees are calling it a spiritual buzzkill. Priests say it's time to clean up. Turns out even gods get caught in dry January just a few months late. And of course, Florida, where a golfer tackled an alligator that stole his ball. The gator retreated. The man cheered. His friends filmed it, and Florida reclaimed its title as America's wild card. Finally, crypto markets crashed after Trump's tariff tweets in what X users dubbed the Trump dump. It was so bad, Bitcoin briefly considered a name change to Bitcoin. And that's your Weird News Roundup. From dire wolves to pet rocks, meat cleavers to toy tanks, it's clear we're not just living in strange times, we're producing them in high def 24/7. Until next time, stay skeptical, stay sharp, and for the love of all that's holy, stop genetically reviving prehistoric predators. Good night.
I said I'd lower the price of your eggs, $2 a dozen, no need to beg. Promised you bacon, cheap toast on the side. But look at the shelves, prices just don't slide. Groceries, I'll cut them, the best, the most. Now milk's so high it could buy a house on the coast. I told you, I've got this, trust me, don't cry. But folks, let's be honest, guess what? I lied. I'm a liar, yeah, I'm a liar. My promises burn like pants on fire. I'll tell you big dreams, then wave goodbye. Open my mouth and out comes a lie. 'Cause I'm a liar, oh, I'm a liar. Gas, I'll make it so cheap you'll cheer. But now it's $4 a gallon. Oops, my dear. I'll drill, I'll frack, I'll fix it today. But guess what I did gonna fed the time away. I'll end all wars, bring the troops back home, but the chaos abroad is still free to roam. Said peace is easy, I'll solve it, don't cry. Spoiler alert, America, I lied. I'm a liar, yeah, I'm a liar. My promises shine, but then they expire. I'll fix the world, that's my battle cry. But when the truth lands, it's just another lie. 'Cause I'm a liar, oh, I'm a liar. Listen, folks, nobody lies better than me, okay? They say, Donald, you promised peace, cheap gas, cheap eggs. Well, guess what? Promises are like contracts, meant to be broken. And I break them beautifully, believe me. I'll fix inflation, I'll fix your pay. I said it all bigly, the Trumpian way. But eggs are gold, gas makes you poor. And the wars, surprise, we've got a few more. You wanted savings, you got my grin. The art of the deal, you'll never win. Every big promise, no need to buy. The answer's the same, I lied, I lied. I'm a liar, yeah, I'm a liar. I build you up just to backfire. I sell you a dream, then watch it die. 'Cause I'm the king, the best at the lie. Oh, I'm a liar, yeah, I'm a liar. Say it louder, it's tremendous, I inspire. Don't worry, folks, I'll fix it next time, believe me.
Good evening, America, land of the free, home of the deregulated. I'm Jordan Klepper, and tonight's special report asks the burning question: what happens when you give a billionaire a title and a former reality TV star the nuclear codes? Again, welcome to Klepper's Corner. Trump and Elon destroy America. Let's kick things off with economics, the only class Trump definitely skipped at Wharton. Since returning to power, President Donald Trump and his honorary chaos czar, Elon Musk, have teamed up to slash government spending like it's a clearance sale on democracy. Musk now leads the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Yes, they named a government agency after a meme dog because nothing says serious fiscal reform like branding that sounds like your nephew's crypto startup. Their plan? Fire thousands of federal workers, shut down 11 agencies, and cancel grants faster than Musk cancels Tesla Cybertruck timelines. USAID vaporized. Minnesota lost $70 million in food exports. That's not efficiency. It's a one-man economic collapse tour. Trump's rolling out a 104% tariff on Chinese imports. Why? Because if your last trade war didn't work, clearly the answer is mow our war. Clean energy companies, devastated. Small businesses, crushed. Elon's companies, magically fine. Musk's Tesla and SpaceX got quick tariff exemptions while their competitors drowned in import costs. Remember when competition was part of capitalism? Elon doesn't. Meanwhile, DOGE has laid off so many federal workers that Social Security offices are closing faster than Trump's casinos. Want to check your benefits? Sorry, the only thing open is a chatbot that thinks Medicare is a video game character. But it's not just about layoffs, it's about who benefits. Trump personally endorsed Tesla in a bizarre driveway infomercial on White House grounds shortly after Tesla's stock tanked. Coincidence? Or just the most expensive version of bros helping bros in history? There are currently 32 federal investigations into Elon's companies. Want to guess how many are still active? That's right, none. It's hard to investigate when your boss controls the investigation. It's like putting your dog in charge of the steakhouse. The Office of Public Integrity, Musk helped gut it. Inspectors General, fired. Regulators, downsized into oblivion. At this point, the only accountability Elon answers to is whether or not X, thinks his meme was funny. Now let's talk social safety nets, or what's left of them. Musk has called Social Security a Ponzi scheme and proceeded to make cuts anyway. Never mind Trump's campaign promise to protect it. Promises are like Elon's rocket landings, dramatic, expensive, and occasionally explode. A recent poll says 1 in 5 Americans have lost access to federal services. Meanwhile, Musk's personal net worth is up to $350 billion. When people asked for help affording groceries, Doge offered them job applications for Mars. Some judges have tried to intervene. Doge's mass firings and data grabs were ruled unconstitutional. Trump responded by tweeting, "The Constitution is overrated anyway. We're one ruling away from him issuing executive orders on toilet paper branding." Musk's use of X to announce policy has led to absolute chaos. Remember when he claimed USAID spent $50 million on condoms? Total fabrication. But hey, why fact check when you have 150 million followers and a flamethrower emoji? And it gets better. Trump threatened to annex Greenland again, and Canada. Because when your polling numbers drop, nothing rallies the base like grabbing a neighbor and declaring it yours. At this rate, he's one maple syrup embargo away from war. Musk's Starlink has reportedly restricted access to Ukrainian forces mid-conflict. Trump blamed Ukraine for provoking Russia. Somewhere, Putin is doing a happy dance in a fur robe. Back home, protests are spreading. People are furious. Elon, he just tweeted a GIF of a raccoon slapping a keyboard with the caption, "Efficient AF." Democracy, brought to you by a tech bro who thinks memes are legislation. Studies show Democrats are abandoning Tesla. Republicans are awkwardly trying to love it. The result, consumer backlash, declining sales, and the first time a Model S was used as a campaign prop for someone wearing camo Crocs. So let's review. Trump and Musk have fired thousands of government workers, dismantled social safety nets, weaponized tariffs to boost their personal interests, gutted watchdogs, damaged U.S. alliances, claimed condoms were more dangerous than climate change, and declared war on Canada. This isn't government reform. It's what happens when your country gets bought out by a billionaire and rebranded as a loyalty program. If this is the future, then America might need a firmware update and maybe a therapist. Until next time, stay skeptical, stay loud, and if you see Elon Musk near the Department of Education with a wrench, run.
Election crowd, biggest yet. I said it was the largest set, but photos show side by side Obama's was a wiretide. Mexico will pay the bill for the wall upon the hill, but the funds, they never came. Taxpayers footed that whole game. You knew I was a liar. Facts were turning, truth was burning. You knew I was a liar, but you cheered on, and I kept on. I saw Muslims celebrate on that tragic 9/11 date. No evidence to back that claim, yet I repeated it the same. I won't have time to play golf rounds, but Mar-a-Lago knew no bounds. More trips than presidents before, while saying he'd do even more. You knew I was a liar. Facts were turning, truth was burning. And I kept on. COVID's like the common flu, downplaying what the doctors knew. Suggested bleach and UV light, despite the science not so bright. I won the election, it was rigged. Courts dismissed, the claims were big. Incited crowds to storm the gate. Democracy left in a state. You knew I was a liar. Facts were turning, truth was burning. You knew I was a liar, but you cheered on, and I kept on. From crowd sizes
was burning. Whoa, you knew I was a liar, but you cheered on, and I kept on.
Welcome to Klepper's Corner, Trump Merica WTF Week, the only show where America gets graded on a curve and still flunks. This week, tornadoes are doing cartwheels across the South, Trump is speedrunning a trade war, the stock market is dizzier than a Fox News host at Burning Man, and Georgia's power grid just took a nap. Oh, and Blondie's drummer passed away. So yeah, nothing is sacred. Let's start with the weather, or as it's now known, nature's version of a Trump rally. Chaotic, dangerous, and someone always loses their roof. Over 90 tornadoes, 10 states, one big EFU from the sky. Selmer, Tennessee got hit with an EF3. A young boy in Kentucky was swept away. The forecast now just says pain. FEMA's official guidance at this point, rubber boots and prayer. Meanwhile, Trump has reemerged like Punxsutawney Phil, but if he predicted inflation, he was spotted on the White House lawn right after announcing his big idea. Reciprocal tariffs. Sounds smart, right? Like he's been reading Adam Smith? Nope. Inspired by a dream where China stole his cheeseburger, markets reacted with the calm of a raccoon in a fireworks store. Total panic. Now, a somber note. Clem Burke, the legendary drummer of Blondie, passed away at 70. He kept time for one of the coolest bands in rock. Meanwhile, America is being run by a guy who claps on the 1 and 3. Rest easy, Clem. You actually had rhythm. Wall Street this week, it's like watching your crypto bro cousin try to explain market correction while crying into a vape pen. The S&P and Dow plummeted, oil prices fell, Treasury yields rose, and no one had a clue what was happening. Meanwhile, Trump added more tariffs. Because when the ship's sinking, why not throw bricks at the lifeboats? 104% on Chinese imports. Because fentanyl, that's like charging your dealer because your uncle's a mess. And don't worry, the storms didn't stop. They just relocated. Tornado watches in Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. Bartholomew County, Indiana, underwater. We're now measuring rainfall in Dunkin' Donuts submerged. Emergency crews say they're running out of resources. Meanwhile, your cousin in Tallahassee just jet skied to work. But wait, the market's rebounded. Dow up 1360 points, S&P up 3.4%, NASDAQ 3.76%. Why? Because someone whispered, we might talk to China. Wall Street, the only place where we might talk is worth trillions. It's like telling your girlfriend, I might stop being a jerk, and she buys you a Tesla. Plot twist. Trump announced a 90-day pause on tariffs, except for China. They got upgraded to 125%. His logic? Let's calm the market by hitting our biggest trade partner with a shovel. And somehow it worked. Stocks went full rocket mode. S&P jumped 9.5%. Biggest gain since 2008, right before the economy died. The EU saw Trump's move and said, same. They also paused tariffs. Meanwhile, China said, we don't want trouble, but we'll bring it. They slapped us with 84% tariffs and told citizens, avoid America. When China says avoid America, things are bad. This is the same country where toddlers ride trains faster than Amtrak. And then Georgia went dark. Massive blackout, no cause identified, zero info, just darkness, spooky darkness. Atlanta residents had to navigate by flashlight. Old folks started using landlines again. It was chaos. And you just know there's a guy yelling, thanks Biden, while rebooting his router with a mallet. Let's recap over 90 tornadoes. Trump's economy playbook is a magic 8-ball. Markets are yo-yoing harder than your Aunt Kathy after decaf. Georgia has vanished into the upside down. We lost $6 trillion in stock value, then made most of it back faster than you can say reciprocal tariff. So what did we learn this week? America is still very much on fire, or flood, or blackout. Trump's economic strategy is basically spin the wheel and slap China. And somewhere, Clem Burke is up in heaven, keeping time to the sound of this country stumbling down the stairs. Next week will probably be dumber, but we'll be here for it. I'm Jordan Klepper, and this has been Trump Merica WTF Week. See you in the store.
And then you got Donald whining every day. I mean, this guy whines more than a toddler who dropped his ice cream. Seriously, if complaining was an Olympic sport, he'd have more gold than Michael Phelps.
Wines, huh? Wines. Well, you know what? I do wine, but it's the best wine. Everybody says so. Wait a minute. Wine. Oh, I've got it. Trump wine. It's classy, it's elegant, and it's huge, but it needs a spin. I know exactly who can help me sell this The finest, most credible minds in America. What's that Apple thing called? Tim Apple, call Alex Jones.
Trump, what's up, you beautiful orange patriot?
Alex, I got the next big thing, Trump wine. It's sophisticated, it's luxurious, and it makes you stop whining, kind of like how the fake media says I do, but it's a wine for winners, and I need you in on this.
I didn't need convincing, I'm in. I'll make an InfoWars red blend. It'll wake people up. I'll put secret herbs and natural stuff in it. No globalist ingredients, only 100% American grapes.
Love it, absolutely love it, but we need one more guy.
Hey, Mr. Trump, my pillow here. What's crack, him? What's up, Donald?
Mike, it's me. We're making wine. Trump wine. Alex is in, and we need you. Think about it. My wine. Same comfort as your pillow, but in a glass.
Oh, Donald, I love it. I'll blend it with my patented pillow fiber technology. So smooth, so comforting, you won't even need a glass. You'll sleep and the wine will just seep out of the pillow.
Perfect. We'll do an infomercial. It's going to be you, Joe. Folks, welcome to the finest moment in American history. Better than Washington crossing the Delaware, and certainly better than any president out there, Trump wine. It's strong, bold, and it's perfect for anyone tired of winning. You know, they say I whine. Well, now you can, too, with every sip. This wine is the best, made from grapes picked by only the classiest farmers. You'll taste the victory and just a little hint of legal troubles. It's vintage.
This is InfoWars Red Blend. It's not just wine, folks. It's a battle cry against the globalist elites. One sip, and you'll know the truth. No GMOs, no fluoride, and definitely no lizard people messing with this vintage.
Very powerful. So good it's almost a conspiracy.
And here's my wine pillow. It's the most comforting pillow ever. The pillow comes sopping wet with wine. Sleep on this bad boy, and the wine comes seeping out of the pillow for you to drink it. Drink while you watch your favorite TV pillow infomercials, and you'll never need another glass because you'll be asleep. It's also infused with my secret blend of miracle fabrics.
Call today and we'll throw in a free bottle of Rudy's Depthful Chardonnay for when the lawsuits come knocking.
And with every case, I'll include my new book, Grapes of Rage, the truth about global wine conspiracies.
And we'll also throw in 10 free My Pillows, not for any particular reason. They're just so comfy that our sales are sleeping.
You can't beat that. Call now, folks. It's the whiniest wine you'll ever whine about. I gotta say, this might be my best idea yet. Who knew whining could taste so good?
We've saved America from the cabal once again, Trump.
And now I'll have space for all the voting machines I'm bringing to my factory.
Mike, stick to pillows. But hey, this could be you, Joe.
What the fuck?
Coming up on Klepper's Corner, a sewer alligator, a chupacabra, and a toothpaste that tastes like fried chicken. No, you're not dreaming. You're just stuck in America's weirdest week. Let's dive in. Welcome to Klepper's Corner, where reality and satire are just two sweaty guys sharing a tiny dressing room. I'm Jordan Klepper, and tonight we're diving headfirst into the shallow end of the news pool. And no, that's not a metaphor. There's literally an alligator in there. Ladies and gentlemen, it finally happened. The thing your uncle swore was true between vape hits and conspiracy rants, it's real. A live alligator was pulled out of a sewer in Florida. You hear that splash? That's every 80s urban legend doing a cannonball into credibility. Florida is now just one step away from a full Teenage Mutant Ninja Alligator reboot. In the UK, a man tripped over his cat and wound up with injuries comparable to a car crash. How? The cat was fine, obviously, because cats don't care. In fact, it probably posted about it on Meowspace. Now he walks with a cane, and the cat still sleeps on his pillow like it owns the place. Which it does. They all do. In Brazil, an influencer got flagged at the airport because her face didn't match her passport. Why? Because that face is now downloadable DLC. Immigration thought she was an imposter. Meanwhile, her surgeon's just happy she finally blinks again. Here's a story that'll haunt your laundry cycle forever. Look, experts say unwashed new clothes are full of fecal matter. Yes, poop. Literal fashion crimes. So next time someone compliments your thrift store jacket, just nod and say, thanks, it's 40% off, 60% colon bacteria. Big news out of Scotland. A camera dropped into Loch Ness in 1970 was just retrieved. And guess what? It might have caught Nessie. It's blurry, dark, and vague. So it's either a sea monster or security cam footage from a Dollar General. In Colorado, a woman caught footage of what may be a chupacabra lurking near her home. Either that or her neighbor's dog got into the bleach again. We've entered a golden age of cryptid sightings, people. Sasquatch is next, and he's probably on Cameo. In Australia, someone was caught sticking both legs out of a moving car. Why? Because the human race is in a decline spiral wrapped in Crocs. Imagine explaining to the ER doctor, no, doc, I didn't fall. I was just vibing. A bride went viral for sharing that on her wedding day. She was injured, drugged, and her veil was destroyed. All before the cake. That's not a marriage. That's a Quentin Tarantino prequel. To make it worse, the officiant apparently said, if anyone objects, and her pancreas raised its hand. Breaking the dental space-time continuum, KFC released fried chicken-flavored toothpaste. Yup, you can now brush your teeth with regret. Some say it's sold out. Others say those people are in jail now. Either way, but brushing twice a day just got 10,000% more American. In China, a court auctioned off 100 tons of live crocodiles for $500,000. Pickup only, because Uber Eats draws the line at live reptiles. This is either the worst delivery order in history or the plot of Crocodile Dundee 4 Foreclosure Edition. A survey revealed 1 in 50 men believe they could beat a racehorse in a 100-meter sprint. Sir, be for real. You wheeze putting on socks. At this point, I want these guys to try, just so we can add trampled while delusional to Darwin Award lore. That's it for Klepper's Corner Weird News, Episode 6. A reminder that truth is weirder than fiction, and fiction is starting to apply for unemployment. Folks, welcome back to Klepper's Corner, Trump Merica WTF Week, where the only thing more confused than the judicial system is President Trump trying to explain his own tariff policy. Deport first, ask questions. Never. This week, the Supreme Court ruled that the Trump administration has to return a man wrongly deported to El Salvador. Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia was sent back like a misaddressed Amazon package, only to be dropped into El Salvador's Secot mega prison. Turns out it was all due to an administrative error, or, as Team Trump calls it, Tuesday. And now the U.S. is legally required to bring Garcia home. Great news, unless he was planning to be president someday, in which case, sorry, buddy, you left the country and now you're ineligible. That's the new Mar-a-Lago immigration rule, Trump tariff tango. Now with a pause button, Trump, in his infinite wisdom, announced a 90-day pause on tariffs for everyone except China. That's right, Canada, you're cool. France, c'est bon. China, 125% tariffs. That's not a trade policy, that's a revenge fantasy. Trump said the pause is to calm the markets, which is rich because the only thing he's ever successfully calmed is Eric, and only with chew toys, Ukraine versus China. Wait, what? Meanwhile, in a plot twist no one saw coming, Ukraine accused China of sending troops to help Russia. Beijing denied it, but if true, we're officially one shady alliance away from a Marvel crossover nobody wanted. And yet, Trump's still focused on bombing Iran and taxing iPads because nothing says global strategy like fighting your Apple Watch while the world burns. Hudson River helicopter horror. In tragic news, a sightseeing helicopter crashed into the Hudson River, killing 6 people, including 3 children. A reminder that America will regulate everything except flying metal death bubbles over the world's most crowded skyline. Calls for stricter rules followed. Trump, meanwhile, suggested maybe we just make rivers safer. He then reportedly tried to call Poseidon. Joint Chiefs Shake-up retired Air Force Lieutenant General Dan Raisin Kane was confirmed as chairman of the Joint Chiefs. He replaces Charles Q. Brown Jr., who Trump fired for low vibes. Critics say this is just Trump stacking the military with loyalists. Supporters say, wait, we still have a military? India's financial drama. India's enforcement directorate is seizing $80 million from the Congress Party's media wing, Associated Journals Limited, which in America would be called Tuesday at Fox News. Congress calls it election interference, the BJP calls it cleaning house, and Modi calls it date night. Gaza escalates. Israel encircled the city of Rafah in Gaza, triggering evacuations and international outrage. And somewhere in the distance, Jared Kushner's peace plan burst into flames. Hamas called it a war crime. Israel said it was necessary infrastructure dismantling. Trump said, "Where's Rafah? Is that near Bedminster?" Iran nuclear talks, Trump edition. Iran and the U.S. resumed nuclear talks in Oman. Leading them, Steve Witkoff, a guy whose name sounds like a fake alias at a Trump casino. This round of diplomacy was so awkward, even the Iranian blushed. Helicopters and hackers in India, India's UPI digital payment system, had a massive outage, grinding daily life to a halt. Millions were left screaming, "Why isn't my street corn vendor taking QR codes?" Good news, NPCI promised it'll be fixed soon. Bad news, it's probably being handled by the same IT guy who runs Air India's in-flight Wi-Fi. Fire at the governor's mansion. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's residence caught fire. No injuries unless you count the press secretary's soul. Authorities suspect arson. But hey, maybe the fire was just a spontaneous protest against Philly cheesesteak taxes. Trump's temporary tech tease, Trump's commerce secretary, clarified that electronics tariffs were only temporarily exempt. So buy that PlayStation now before your controller costs more than a down payment on a house. In other words, temporary relief, permanent confusion. Vinyl mayhem. Record Store Day 2025. Record Store Day saw thousands scrambling for rare vinyls. Top wins included Wicked and Gracie Abrams Live. Big loser, Kelsey Ballerini fans. Again, it was a beautiful day of capitalism dressed as nostalgia. So basically, Black Friday with better facial hair. Ecuador's tight election. Daniel Noboa won re-election in Ecuador. A surprise to no one unless you're his opponent, or an American who still thinks Ecuador is a type of dessert. Ambedkar Jayanti and Telangana reforms India celebrated Ambedkar Jayanti and implemented a new caste reservation policy in Telangana. Trump sent a letter saying, "Congrats on your new Hogwarts house assignment." Hostage deal proposal in Gaza. Hamas offered to release Israeli hostages for a prisoner swap and a war-ending guarantee, which is like asking your kidnapper to pinky promise. Saudi Arabia cancels Hajj slots. Saudi Arabia canceled 52,000 Hajj slots for Indian pilgrims. No reason given, but it was probably, oops, our Mecca is full. That's all for this week, folks. Trade wars, hostage deals, and a Supreme Court ruling that basically says, hey, maybe don't deport the wrong guy. Until next time, keep your tariffs low, your helicopters grounded, and your vinyl collection alphabetized.
Tonight, on In Search Of, we embark on a journey to uncover one of the greatest mysteries of our time, Bigfoot. For decades, sightings of this elusive creature have been reported across North America. But tonight, we follow a new lead, one that has taken us to an unexpected place. Some say Bigfoot has been hiding in plain sight, not in the forests, but in the halls of power. Could it be that Bigfoot is not just a myth, but a living, mouth-breathing individual who has integrated into society? And could that individual be none other than Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene? Our investigation begins deep in the forests of Georgia, where local residents have reported strange sightings of a tall, loud creature with a penchant for conspiracy theories. Descriptions match those of both Bigfoot and, well, someone else.
Yeah, I saw her. Just the other day, Bigfoot was ranting about Jewish space lasers and how the election was stolen. I didn't know Bigfoot had such strong opinions.
Armed with this new information, we delve deeper into the mystery. Could Bigfoot have a secret agenda? Is the creature known for hiding in the wilderness now hiding in the U.S. Congress?
The government is hiding the truth. They know I exist, and they know I'm right.
As we track Bigfoot's, or rather Marjorie Taylor Greene's movements, it becomes clear that this creature is no ordinary cryptid. It thrives on attention, feeds on controversy, and leaves a trail of confusion in its wake. But can we truly capture the essence of this elusive being? As Black September often says, roll the clip.
Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about AG.
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No,
what you're
ain't
reading.
nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order.
Mr. Chairman,
That's beneath
would
even
you
your
please
screen.
get
That's beneath
In
order
its
on your committee?
natural habitat,
I do have a point of order.
Bigfoot has learned to blend in, to mimic the behaviors of those around it, yet it remains unmistakable. Despite attempts to fit in, it often stands out due to its unusual vocalizations and tendency to disrupt.
Baby. Girl, I don't think
we are going to move and we're going to take your words down.
I second that motion.
So, you agree to strike your words?
Yeah. I'll
Okay. Ms. Green agrees to strike her words.
I believe she
Chair
needs to
recognizes
apologize. No.
Mr. Perry.
She needs to
Okay,
apologize.
hold on. Then after Mr. Perry's going to be recognized, then Ms. Green
I'm not
still has 4 minutes and
apologizing.
21
Well,
seconds.
then
Okay,
you're
reserve
not
the right to
striking your
object.
words.
I am
Mr.
not
Perry.
apologizing.
Now let's go. Come on, guys.
It's me.
Ms. Crockett.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's
Hold
a
on.
part
I'm
of it.
trying to find clarification on what qualifies.
Chairman, motion to
I
strike
had no
those
idea
words.
what you just said.
We're not gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just.
You just voted to do it.
Y'all did it first, so you don't want to talk about it.
Voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get
Okay.
clarification.
Look at, calm down,
No, because this
I
is
would
what
like
y'all
to get through
do.
proceeding.
So I'm trying
Hey,
to
Ms.
get
Crockett.
clarification.
And so our search concludes, perhaps not with definitive answers, but with new questions. Is Bigfoot real? Is it Marjorie Taylor Greene? Or is it just an elaborate hoax, a creature of myth turned political spectacle? The truth, as always, is out there, somewhere. Until next time, keep searching.
Folks, welcome back to Klepper's Corner, the only news show where the stories are stranger than Marjorie Taylor Greene's browser history. This week, we've got flaming palm trees, arsonists with hammers, and Boris Johnson getting assaulted by Big Bird on steroids. Let's get weird. Elephant earthquake response. We begin in San Diego, where a herd of elephants at a zoo did what none of us have done during a crisis: act calmly and protect the children. While humans are busy screaming into TikTok filters during natural disasters, elephants are forming TSA security formations around their babies. Somewhere in D.C., the Secret Service is taking notes. What if we just made the president live with elephants? Tornado-tossed tortoise returns. In Mississippi, a tortoise named Myrtle vanished in a tornado, only to show up weeks later like a reptilian Forrest Gump. Slow and steady apparently survives the EF4. When asked where she'd been, Myrtle reportedly said, "I don't know, man. Things got shell real." Bigfoot in Colorado or mange raccoon. In Pueblo, Colorado, a woman claimed to spot Bigfoot. Wildlife officials later said it was likely a raccoon with mange. The only thing more disheveled and mysterious than this creature is Rudy Giuliani at a Four Seasons press conference. Still, let's not be so quick to judge. Bigfoot might just be trying to file for unemployment. Green Day sets Coachella palm tree on fire. Over at Coachella, Green Day made their debut by doing what all aging punks eventually do: start a fire accidentally and pretend it was part of the show. Palm tree in flames with Billy Joe Armstrong shouting, "Welcome to the fire parade!" while the crowd throws marshmallows. Honestly, the last time Green Day burned that hard, it was their MySpace profile, Coachella backflip fail. In other Coachella chaos, a singer tried a backflip and ate dirt so hard, a chiropractor in the audience stood up and clapped. The good news, he stuck the landing on a liability waiver. Man brings coke to isolated tribe. A Ukrainian-American man was arrested for trying to visit the forbidden Sentinelese tribe with a can of coke and a coconut because nothing says respecting sacred isolation like sugar water and tropical produce. He's lucky he wasn't turned into a pina colada and a cautionary tale. The tribe reportedly responded by throwing the coke back and saying, "We prefer Pepsi," 81-year birthday card tradition. Meanwhile, in the wholesome corner of the Twilight Zone, two friends have passed the same birthday card back and forth since 1944. That's 81 years of friendship and not a single passive-aggressive hallmark message. Compare that to Congress, where friendships last about 4 tweets and end in subpoenas. Arsonist with a hammer targets governor. In Pennsylvania, a man tried to burn down Governor Josh Shapiro's home and allegedly wanted to attack him with a hammer. So now we've entered the Home Depot villain era. Thankfully, police intervened. The man was arrested and the hammer was returned to Wile E. Coyote. Deer crashes Kentucky YMCA. In Kentucky, a YMCA got a surprise workout partner, a deer that wandered inside, presumably for leg day. The deer later gave a press conference saying, "I was just here to cancel my Planet Fitness membership. Boris Johnson pecked by an ostrich. And in Texas, Boris Johnson was pecked by an ostrich while visiting a wildlife park. The bird, sources say, confused him for a walking haystack, China's viral puppy mountain. And finally, in China, a mountain went viral for looking exactly like a puppy's face, leading to an actual pilgrimage by dog lovers. Locals have renamed it Mount Woof, and Disney already optioned the movie rights. It's called The Bark Side of Everest. That's all for this week's weirdness. From tortoises and tornadoes to Boris in a beak battle, remember, reality is always weirder than fiction. And no matter what the raccoon said, I still believe in Bigfoot.
Looks like the comedy video has got you upset. Wait, before you post a negative comment or thumbs down this video, have we got a treat for you? Black September Studios is proud to have Dick's Chips and Snacks be a sponsor of this video. Remember, that's Dick's Chips and Snacks. So eat a bag of Dick's today and smile.
Oh, man, yeah! Folks, gather around. I'm here to introduce the greatest, most luxurious fragrance the world has ever seen. It's called Fart.
That's right. Fart. It's bold. It's brash. It's unmistakably Trump. Just one spritz and you'll be the center of attention, whether people like it or not.
Listen, folks, people are always asking me, Mr. Trump, how do you smell so powerful? How do you radiate confidence? Well, the secret is out. Fart is a scent unlike any other. It's strong, unapologetic, and slightly controversial.
It's not just a cologne, it's a statement. You walk into a room and bam! Everyone knows you've arrived. It's the scent of deals, dominance, and, let's be honest, a hint of unpredictability.
Some people are calling it stinky. Some are saying, Mr. Trump, why would you name a cologne fart? Well, I'll tell you why. The fake news media doesn't want you to know that FART is actually an acronym. F-A-R-T. Fabulous, aromatic, real Trump. They didn't see that coming, did they?
No, they did not. And let's not forget the bottle design, crafted from the finest plastic money can buy. Each cap is dipped in gold-colored paint.
Exactly. And here's the deal, folks. For just $99.99, you can own your very own bottle of fart. But wait, there's more. If you buy 10 bottles today, I'll throw in a signed photo of me smelling amazing.
Don't stop there. If you buy 100 bottles, you'll be entered into a raffle to have dinner with Mr. Trump himself.
The dinner's a Zoom call, right?
Absolutely, sir. Totally Zoom, very exclusive.
And let me tell you, folks, this cologne isn't just for men. Women, children, even pets. Everyone can smell like success. Even my good friend Vladimir Putin, he called me and said, Donald, fart smells amazing. Best cologne in Russia. Folks, this is your chance to smell like a billionaire. Forget Chanel, forget Dior. When you wear fart, you're wearing history.
That's right, so don't wait. Head to TrumpSmells.com and order now. Supplies are limited because, well, we didn't make that many.
And remember, folks, if you don't like it, too bad, no refunds. But trust me, you'll love it. Fart, it's huge, it's fantastic, and it's all American.
Trump Fart. Smell the power. Welcome to Tariffs for Dummies 2.0. Today, we're answering the big question. Who do tariffs hurt? And what better way to explain than with this, our patented Tariff Simulator 3000 machine. Now, let's meet our volunteers. First up, we have the American consumer.
Wait, why am I here? I just came for the free snacks.
Perfect. Now, imagine you're buying something simple. Say, a TV. Tariffs increase the cost of imported goods, meaning your wallet gets lighter and your dignity takes a hit.
Why didn't they just raise the price?
They did. That's the metaphor. Moving on. Next, we have the American business owner. You see, tariffs raise costs for companies importing materials. Guess who eats that expense?
My shareholders are gonna love this.
And it doesn't stop there. Meet the American farmer.
Let me guess, I get kicked too?
Not just you. Foreign buyers hit back with retaliatory tariffs. That means fewer exports and fewer sales. Step right up.
Can't they just ban TikTok instead?
Great idea, but irrelevant. Finally, let's not forget the government.
Ha! I'm the one imposing the tariffs. Surely this doesn't hurt me.
Wrong again. When foreign countries retaliate, it reduces trade overall, shrinking the economy and even cutting government revenue. And there you have it, tariffs, a real pain for everyone.
We get it.
We get it. Tariffs hurt.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for more economic lessons. And remember, if you're feeling the pain of tariffs, at least it's not literal.
Folks, welcome back to Klepper's Corner, Trump Merica WTF Week, where the only thing more confused than the judicial system is President Trump trying to explain his own tariff policy. Deport first, ask questions. Never. This week, the Supreme Court ruled that the Trump administration has to return a man wrongly deported to El Salvador. Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia was sent back like a misaddressed Amazon package, only to be dropped into El Salvador's Secot mega prison. Turns out it was all due to an administrative error, or, as Team Trump calls it, Tuesday. And now the U.S. is legally required to bring Garcia home. Great news, unless he was planning to be president someday, in which case, sorry, buddy, you left the country and now you're ineligible. That's the new Mar-a-Lago immigration rule, Trump tariff tango. Now with a pause button, Trump, in his infinite wisdom, announced a 90-day pause on tariffs for everyone except China. That's right, Canada, you're cool. France, c'est bon. China, 125% tariffs. That's not a trade policy, that's a revenge fantasy. Trump said the pause is to calm the markets, which is rich because the only thing he's ever successfully calmed is Eric, and only with chew toys, Ukraine versus China. Wait, what? Meanwhile, in a plot twist no one saw coming, Ukraine accused China of sending troops to help Russia. Beijing denied it, but if true, we're officially one shady alliance away from a Marvel crossover nobody wanted. And yet, Trump's still focused on bombing Iran and taxing iPads because nothing says global strategy like fighting your Apple Watch while the world burns. Hudson River helicopter horror. In tragic news, a sightseeing helicopter crashed into the Hudson River, killing 6 people, including 3 children. A reminder that America will regulate everything except flying metal death bubbles over the world's most crowded skyline. Calls for stricter rules followed. Trump, meanwhile, suggested maybe we just make rivers safer. He then reportedly tried to call Poseidon. Joint Chiefs shake up retired Air Force Lieutenant General Dan Raisin Kane was confirmed as chairman of the Joint Chiefs. He replaces Charles Q. Brown Jr., who Trump fired for low vibes. Critics say this is just Trump stacking the military with loyalists. Supporters say, wait, we still have a military? India's financial drama. India's enforcement directorate is seizing $80 million from the Congress Party's media wing, Associated Journals Limited, which in America would be called Tuesday at Fox News. Congress calls it election interference, the BJP calls it cleaning house, and Modi calls it date night. Gaza escalates. Israel encircled the city of Rafah in Gaza, triggering evacuations and international outrage. And somewhere in the distance, Jared Kushner's peace plan burst into flames. Hamas called it a war crime. Israel said it was necessary infrastructure dismantling. Trump said, where's Rafah? Is that near Bedminster? Iran nuclear talks, Trump edition. Iran and the U.S. resumed nuclear talks in Oman. Leading them? Steve Witkoff, a guy whose name sounds like a fake alias at a Trump casino. This round of diplomacy was so awkward, even the Iranian blushed. Helicopters and hackers in India, India's UPI digital payment system, had a massive outage, grinding daily life to a halt. Millions were left screaming, why isn't my street corn vendor taking QR codes? Good news, NPCI promised it'll be fixed soon. Bad news, it's probably being handled by the same IT guy who runs Air India's in-flight Wi-Fi. Fire at the governor's mansion. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's residence caught fire. No injuries unless you count the press secretary's soul. Authorities suspect arson. But hey, maybe the fire was just a spontaneous protest against Philly cheesesteak taxes. Trump's temporary tech tease, Trump's commerce secretary, clarified that electronics tariffs were only temporarily exempt. So buy that PlayStation now before your controller costs more than a down payment on a house. In other words, temporary relief, permanent confusion. Vinyl mayhem. Record Store Day 2025. Record Store Day saw thousands scrambling for rare vinyls. Top wins included Wicked and Gracie Abrams Live. Big loser, Kelsey Ballerini fans. Again, it was a beautiful day of capitalism dressed as nostalgia. So basically, Black Friday with better facial hair Ecuador's tight election, Daniel Noboa won re-election in Ecuador. A surprise to no one unless you're his opponent, or an American who still thinks Ecuador is a type of dessert. Ambedkar Jayanti and Telangana reforms India celebrated Ambedkar Jayanti and implemented a new caste reservation policy in Telangana. Trump sent a letter saying, "Congrats on your new Hogwarts house assignment." Hostage deal proposal in Gaza. Hamas offered to release Israeli hostages for a prisoner swap and a war-ending guarantee, which is like asking your kidnapper to pinky promise. Saudi Arabia cancels Hajj slots. Saudi Arabia canceled 52,000 Hajj slots for Indian pilgrims. No reason given, but it was probably, oops, our Mecca is full. That's all for this week, folks. Trade wars, hostage deals, and a Supreme Court ruling that basically says, hey, maybe don't deport the wrong guy. Until next time, keep your tariffs low, your helicopters grounded, and your vinyl collection alphabetized. Tonight on Klepper's Corner Weird World News, we take a trip around the globe where the stories are stranger, the people are bolder, and the headlines make Florida look tame. Buckle up. It's like CNN got drunk in an airport lounge. Segment 1, the mother of all betrayals. Our first story comes from India, where 20-year-old Rahul was all set to marry his beloved fiancée until he said, I do, to her mom. That's right. The groom ran off with his bride's 40-year-old mother 9 days before the wedding. You know it's bad when your RSVP list has to be updated to the bride, the groom, and the lady who grounded the bride in 8th grade. Authorities are investigating fraud, coercion, and how a Bollywood love triangle became an episode of Jerry Springer Jaipur edition. Segment 2, the silent scammer. In Spain, a woman faked being mute for 16 years, collecting disability benefits the whole time. 16 years. That's longer than Game of Thrones ran, and she had a better ending. Her cover was blown when a private investigator caught her speaking fluently in public. Honestly, if I pretended to be mute for 16 years and got caught, I'd just keep pretending. At that point, you earned the Oscar. Segment 3, French Dine and Dash Dynasty. Next stop, France. A father-son duo allegedly dined and dashed 100 times in 3 years. That's not just petty theft. That's a culinary tour with zero budget and 100% audacity. I've got to admire the commitment. They probably left Yelp reviews. Food was incredible that we recommend running immediately after dessert. Segment 4, Holy Demons of El Salvador. In El Salvador, a man dressed as a literal demon was chased through the streets to kick off Holy Week. Because nothing says Jesus has risen like drop-kicking Beelzebub with a sandal. This isn't just theater, it's religious cardio. If you can't exorcise your sins at church, chase them down in the plaza. Segment 5, May the vows be with you. Las Vegas chapels are offering Star Wars-themed weddings for May the 4th. Because if your love isn't strong enough to survive a lightsaber duel in front of a guy dressed as Chewbacca, is it even real? Honestly, who wouldn't want Yoda as a flower girl whispering, forever you shall be? Segment 6, Pickleball Insanity. In America, a group of pickleball enthusiasts tried to play for 36 hours straight to break a world record. Because if you don't land in the Guinness Book, you can at least land in the ER with a torn hamstring and an identity crisis. This isn't a sport anymore. It's a cry for help disguised in sweatbands. Segment 7, Sydney Surprise. Meanwhile, in Australia, because of course, a boa constrictor was found slithering through a Sydney suburb. It wasn't even native. Apparently, the locals weren't alarmed until the snake tried to register for citizenship. This country has kangaroo gangs and jellyfish that can assassinate you. A boa constrictor's just another Tuesday. Segment 8, Immortal Goats of Brazil. In Brazil, scientists discovered a herd of goats that survived over 200 years on an island with no fresh water. These goats are basically immortal. They didn't just survive, they colonized. Forget Elon Musk. If anyone's colonizing Mars, it's these goats. Segment 9, the Slipper Saga of Turkey. In Turkey, an 80-year-old grandma may spend 4 years in prison for hitting her granddaughter with a house slipper. That's right, a slipper. If we start locking up grandparents for slipper strikes, my entire childhood was a crime scene. Segment 10, the gum that fights herpes. Scientists created antiviral chewing gum that can help prevent herpes and the flu. Finally, gum that does more than ruin first dates. It's antiviral, minty, and awkward to explain at customs. Segment 11, the tree that loves lightning. Turns out there's a tree that loves getting struck by lightning. Not only does it survive, it uses the power to kill its neighbors. This isn't a tree. It's a Marvel villain with roots. Segment 12, sock-sniffing lung fungus. A man in China developed a fungal lung infection from smelling his own dirty socks, and I just want to say, the real illness was whatever made him think that was a normal hobby. If your bedtime ritual involves a sock and a deep inhale, maybe it's not the cough that's concerning. And that's it for this week's Weird World News, a planet where grandmas get locked up, Star Wars officiates weddings, and goats outlive entire civilizations. I'm Jordan Klepper, reminding you, just when you think your life is weird, the world is always weirder. Stay strange, folks.
So what's on the agenda today?
Oh man, you're not going to believe this.
What's this all about, Joe? You aren't usually this giddy.
Oh, this is just too good, Barack. Let's just say Trump got a little something extra with his Diet Coke this morning.
Oh yeah, and what could that possibly be?
Well, that's it. That sucker has a hard time telling the truth, so I slipped a truth serum in there, and he's got a recording session he's heading to right now.
This will certainly be interesting.
All right, who's recording in the studio today?
Oh, you're going to love this one. We've got Trump and J.D. Vance coming in here.
Them? I'm not so sure about that.
No, it'll be great, Jack. Just trust me on this.
If you insist, bring them in when they're ready.
If you take a look, everything I touch turns to shit. I hate to say the word, but it's true. Just plain shit. The shit, that shit, red, blue shit, that shit, horse shit. I'm just a terrible person. You knew that when you let me in, and if you vote for me this November for president, you are my friend. A dipshit.
If you take a look, everything I touch, it turns to shit. I hate to say the word, but it's true, just plain shit. This shit, that shit, red shit, blue shit, bad shit, horse shit. Ain't no other way to spew it. I'm just a terrible person, you knew that, man. I was a snake when you let me in, part of the plan. I slipped through the cracks, got my way to the top. Now everything I touch, man, it's bound to drop. Shit here, shit there, it's a shit stone friends. And if you vote for me, well, you'll be a dipshit again. Shit here, shit there, it's a shit stone friends. And if you vote for me, well, you'll be a dipshit again. No shame, I got no fear. Everything I do is so damn clear. You think I care, but nah, I don't. I'll say whatever, man, you know I won't. I'm stacking up the shit, piled it up high. The smell don't bother me, I just let it fly. You knew that I was trouble, but still you let me win. Now we're all swimming in it, let the chaos begin. Shit here, shit there, it's a shit stone friends. And if you vote for me, well, you'll be a dipshit again. Shit here, shit there, it's a shit stone friends. And if you vote for me, well, you'll be a dipshit again. I'm like a wrecking ball, swinging through the halls. Leave a trail of shit behind, watch it spatter on the walls. No matter what I do, it's a shit show on repeat. But you keep on clapping like it's some kind of feat. You're drinking up my lies, it's Kool-Aid to the brain. But deep down inside, you know it's all insane. I'm a mastermind of madness, chaos is my game. But if you're still by my side, then we're both to blame. Shit here, shit there, it's a shit stone friends. And if you vote for me, well, you'll be a dipshit again. Shit here, shit there, it's a shit stone friends. And if you vote for me, well, you'll be a dipshit again. Pied Piper, leading you astray, playing that sweet tune while the world's in disarray. You follow me blindly, even when it stinks. But I'll keep on marching, dragging you to the brink. Every promise I make, it's just smoke in the air. But you don't seem to care, man, you're stuck in my snare. I'll keep dishing out the shit, serving it up hot, and you'll eat it up gladly like it's all you got. I'm like the Pied Piper, leading you astray, playing that sweet tune while the world's in disarray. You follow me blindly, even when it stinks, but I'll keep on marching, dragging you to the brink. Every promise I make, it's just smoke in the air, but you don't seem to care, man, you're stuck in my snare. I'll keep dishing out the shit, serving it up hot, and you'll eat it up gladly like it's all you got. Now here's the final verse, let's take it to the end. I'll pile up the shit, no need to pretend. The world's on fire, but I'm fanning the flames, and you're still here cheering, calling out my name. So when November comes and you hit that pole, just remember, my friend, you're digging your own hole. I'll be there, smiling, watching it all spin, cause if you vote for me, you're a dipshit, my kin.
Tonight on Klepper's Corner is the ultimate bromance breakdown. Trump and Musk. The MAGA emperor and the meme overlord are going through what experts call a Twitter breakup. One built a rocket to Mars, the other built a golden toilet for his McDonald's. Who will orbit out of the Oval Office first? Segment 1. The threat heard round the comment section. Meet Sean Monper of Pennsylvania. He made a bold political statement in a YouTube comment, and now he's trending on the FBI watch list. His brilliant post: we just need to start killing people. Trump, Elon. The only thing more unstable than that sentence is Trump's economic plan. Let's be clear, violence is never okay. But also, YouTube comments? That's not exactly Al-Qaeda's playbook. That's just where free speech goes to die and conspiracy theories are reborn. Segment 2. Space Karen versus budget cuts. Musk is mad. Trump's trying to cut NASA's science funding, which means less cash for SpaceX. Elon called the cuts troubling, which in Elon speak is somewhere between I'm buying Twitter and I'm launching a flamethrower company. Trump responded by praising Elon. That's not praise. That's what your dad says before he stops paying your phone bill. Segment 3. Doge deja vu. Remember Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency? It was supposed to save $1 trillion. Now, Elon says, oopsie doodle, it's more like $150 billion. That's a $850 billion rounding error, or as Trump calls it, Wednesday. Segment 4, tariff tantrums and Twitter feuds. Musk called Trump's tariff architect, Peter Navarro, dumber than a sack of bricks. To which Navarro responded, Elon and I are great. That's not a response, Pete. That's Stockholm Syndrome with extra smarm. Meanwhile, Musk paused Tesla orders in China because of Trump's tariffs. So congratulations, America. We're leading in self-sabotage. Segment 5, crazy Uncle Elon. According to reports, cabinet meetings now feel like Elon's extended family reunion. Officials are calling him Crazy Uncle Elon, which makes sense because he shows up late, tells weird jokes, and won't stop tweeting during grace. Rubio allegedly walked out of a meeting, probably to scream into a stack of CIA briefings. Segment 6, X marks the cringe. The Washington Post analyzed 50,000 of Elon's X posts and found they influence actual policy. Yes, the guy who retweets anime Hitler memes is steering America's spaceship. Also, he accused former Obama official Norm Eisen of organizing illegal protests based on vibes and probably a meme from a guy named @420 Patriot Penguin. Segment 7, Musk fatigue hits the polls. Musk and Trump are both seeing declining poll numbers. Trump's still calling him fantastic, but also hinted that Elon might go back to Tesla soon. People are calling Elon arrogant, greedy, and weird, which is also how we describe every groomsman at a crypto wedding. Segment 8, Elon denies everything, but we believe the vibes. Rumors that Elon's leaving Doge are flying faster than a Tesla on autopilot headed straight into a wall. The White House says, nope, he's staying. Trump says he's eventually leaving, and Elon says nothing, just posted a meme of a raccoon riding a tank. Segment 9, British roast of Elon. Meanwhile, the British are doing what they do best, mocking billionaires with puppets and satire. Elon is now a recurring character on a satire show called Who Wants to Be a Prime Moron? They even mocked Trump's plan to delete government websites, which, let's be honest, he probably just thought was the browser history. Segment 10, Musk versus ASML, the chip shot. Trump's tariffs hit ASML, a chip company crucial to the global supply chain. Elon warned this would happen, but no one listened because he tweeted it between a conspiracy thread and a photo of his goat statue. So now companies are in chaos, and Elon is stuck between Trump and a hard tariff, literally and metaphorically. So to summarize, Elon Musk is simultaneously the most influential, the most annoying, and the most unstable part of Trump's administration. He's a tech CEO, meme lord, federal employee, and Twitter goblin, basically the Swiss Army knife of chaos. And Trump, he's just trying to decide whether to keep Elon around or ghost him like Stormy Daniels in a courtroom. Good night, America. Try not to tweet yourself into federal custody.
Welcome to Musk Fu. The only martial art taught by a billionaire. A lot of people are saying, Elon, why Kung Fu? And I tell them it's not just about defense. It's about reputation defense. And I said, you might have seen my name on a certain list, but I was only on that plane for one reason: to master the ancient art of Kung Fu. That's nothing weird. Audited, no funny business. Just me, my fists, and discipline.
Master Elon's techniques are truly one of a kind. Forget decades of traditional training. Musk Fu will teach you in just 10 easy payments of $99.99. Hey!
Unlike those traditional masters, I have the resources of the future. Our Musk Fu will take you from zero to hero at the speed of an electric car. And remember, if you hear anything scandalous, just tell them it's all part of my path to Kung Fu enlightenment.
You never actually learned Kung Fu, Elon.
Shh, Brad. Yes, also, right, I didn't finish all the training, but that's because my Tesla neural implants are learning the moves for me. Soon I'll just be able to think Kung Fu.
I bought Musk Fu to defend myself against accusations at board meetings. Now, I just go hi-ya, and people get real quiet. Thanks, Elon.
Musk Fu transformed my life. I was always on the defensive, but now, well, mostly I just swing my arms around awkwardly, but I can feel the power.
Remember, I wasn't on that plane for anything else. No friendship favors or, whatever you're implying. Musk Fu, power, clarity, denial. Order now, clear your name, or train for when people ask questions. Musk Fu. Because when it comes to the truth, sometimes the best defense is a kick in the face.
Looks like the comedy video has got you upset. Wait. Before you post a negative comment or thumbs down this video, have we got a treat for you? Black September Studios is proud to have Dick's Chips and Snacks be a sponsor of this video. Remember, that's Dick's Chips and Snacks. So eat a bag of Dick's today and smile.
Oh man, yeah!
Welcome back to Klepper's Corner, Trump Merica Weekly Wrap-Up, the only news show where we ask, how much damage can one orange man do in 7 days? Turns out a lot, like Bible plague meets supply chain chaos levels of a lot. Let's kick things off with Harvard, where this week the Ivy League got a surprise pop quiz in how not to get bullied by the federal government. Segment 1, Harvard versus Trump U. The city of Cambridge organized a protest on Harvard's front lawn, urging the university to resist federal interference. And Harvard was like, we read the Constitution, did you? Then Trump did what he does best, hold a grudge, by freezing $2.2 billion in grants and $60 million in contracts. You know, because nothing says limited government like taking away billions from a university for not pledging allegiance to Dear Leaders podcast. Segment 2, AOC in LA. Meanwhile, AOC held a rally in Los Angeles for something. No one really knows. Could have been climate change, student debt, or just an open mic night for progressives. Segment 3, Russia, missiles, and diplomacy. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov showed up at the Antalya Diplomacy Forum in Turkey to discuss global peace right before Russia unleashed ballistic missiles on Ukraine, killing 35 people and injuring over 100 in Sumy. Zelensky's response was basically, we'd like NATO and America to stop doom scrolling and maybe, I don't know, help? Segment 4. Shaky ground in San Diego. San Diego was rocked by a 5.2 earthquake this week. Bottles fell off shelves, dogs barked, Californians rolled their eyes and went back to sipping oat milk. Segment 5. Deporting U.S. citizens. In the Oval Office this week, Trump met with El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, to discuss a truly mega idea, deporting U.S. citizens to El Salvador. Legal scholars called it unconstitutional. Trump called it brilliant. Honestly, this is the guy who thinks the Supreme Court is just the very best Taco Bell combo. Segment 6, trade wars and Apple stock markets jumped this week after Trump exempted smartphones and computers from tariffs. Because apparently even Trump knows if he messes with iPhones, there'll be a rebellion led by 13-year-olds on TikTok. Segment 7, China fires back. China's top Hong Kong official slammed Trump's tariffs. The WTO warned U.S.-China trade could drop by 81%. That's not a trade war, that's a trade meteor strike. Segment 8, school shooting in Dallas. On a serious note, another shooting at Wilmer Hutchins High School in Dallas has reignited calls for action again. Because in America, gun control is just a topic we file under thoughts and prayers and move on from. Segment 9, Biden's back. Joe Biden made a rare public appearance this week, which has Democrats split between good to see you, Joe, and please, for the love of FDR, sit down. Segment 10, NPR, Doge, and spaceships. The FCC greenlit AST Spacemobile's beta satellite tests. NPR testified in Congress to keep its funding, and the NLRB might have had its sensitive data swiped by the Doge. No, not the meme coin, the Department of Government Efficiency, because when you hear efficiency, you definitely think data breach. Segment 11, Puerto Rico blackout. Puerto Rico went dark this week. Again, the entire island lost power, but don't worry, Trump says he's thinking about sending paper towels again. Segment 12, Latin America troubles. Brazil hit a record debt risk. Colombia declared a yellow fever emergency. Meanwhile, U.S. media coverage was like, hey, so anyway, here's more Taylor Swift concert footage. Segment 13, NBA playoffs and baseball audio chaos. NBA playoffs begin this weekend, and MLB fans were furious when audio cut out during the Cubs versus Padres game, forcing them to actually watch baseball in silence. Segment 14, Trump's tarot card economy. The World Trade Organization says Trump's tariffs will shrink global trade, Japan is panicking, and auto execs are sweating. Meanwhile, Trump's like, trust me, I'm a businessman. Also, buy my limited edition Teflon Dawn pans. And finally, happy birthday to all you April 17th babies. Jupiter says it's your year for career growth, financial success, and slowly losing faith in democracy, just like the rest of us. I'm Jordan Klepper. This has been Klepper's Corner, Trump Merica WTF wrap-up, reminding you, when the world goes dark, at least we still have sarcasm and backup generators.
Golf, 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 golf. All I wanna do is golf. Golf, golf, golf. Oval Office, no, I'm off, 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 off. Secret Service, load my clubs, 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 clubs. I don't wanna read no briefs, that's boring. Hand me my 9-iron, I'm scoring. Meetings? Nah, I'll just ignore them. Got a tea time, Air Force One now boarded. They keep saying, sir, there's a crisis. I say, shh, I'm putting be quiet. President? Sure, but I'm tired. Give me a cart, give me a caddy, I'll drive it. 4-4, yeah, I yell it when I slice. They say I never work, but my handicap is nice. Scandals every week, man, I don't check the price. Mick Mulvaney's got it handled. Hit the sand trap, let me dice. Golf, 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 golf. That's all I wanna do. Golf, 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 golf. I'm the president, so what? Now watch me cheat this putt, 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 putt. Putting for a birdie while the country burns. Did I cause it? Not my concern. Mar-a-Lago, winter term. White House, now let JD take turns. Kim Jong-un's trying to start some drama, but I got backspin like Obama. Nancy Pelosi screaming, come back. Sorry, busy, golden tan, no cap. 18 holes, no briefings today. Signed some bills, yeah, they forged it. Okay, pardon myself, now I'm legally great. Mueller's calling, now tell him I'm late. Golf, 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 golf. That's all I wanna do. Golf, 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 golf. Oval Office, no, I'm off, 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 off. Secret Service, load my clubs, 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 clubs. Melania's mad, she's throwing my bags. Told her come caddy, she said, boy, you trash. Congress is tripping, subpoenas they fax. Told them catch me on the green, not my fault that I crashed. Golf, 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 golf. All I do is golf, 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 golf. Country's doomed, now it's fine, 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 fine. And meet my driver one more time, 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 time.
This week on Klepper's Corner, we sat down with the man who put the holiday in. Holy crap, he's still talking, Donald Trump. We asked him a simple question: what does Easter mean to him? And folks, it went exactly how you'd expect. Mr. President, thanks for sitting down. Let's talk Easter. You know, the resurrection, rebirth, renewal.
Absolutely. And I know more about Easter than probably anybody. I've had the chocolate. I've seen the baskets. Frankly, I invented Peeps. People don't know that.
You invented marshmallow Peeps?
Well, not me, but my cousin who ran a marshmallow farm in Queens before the deep state shut it down. Very sad.
Okay. Can you walk us through the meaning of Easter?
Of course I can. Easter is a beautiful time, okay? Very holy. It's the day Jesus made the Easter bunny lay eggs.
Sorry, what?
Look it up. Jesus, a great guy, very powerful, very came back, right? He came back, Jordan. Not a lot of people do that. And when he did, he said, let there be bunnies. And boom, the first egg dropped.
Like out of a bunny?
Yes, very impressive. Nobody talks about it, but Jesus was the original magician. He turned water into wine, then rabbits into poultry. It's in, I think it's in the book of Trump. I mean, John.
Tired of seeing Trump's face only on American flags?
It's great, but I need more.
Well, now you can take Trump's branding to divine heights. Introducing the Trump Blasphemy Bible, now featuring Trump's face.
I feel so holy.
It's like a miracle.
Praise be to me. That's right. Send me your offering, suckers. Oh crap, I mean my people.
For just $69.99, you can own your very own ticket to the Highway to Hell, the Trump Good Book.
Look, everyone, it's Trump and the flag on the Bible.
Wow, now that's divine. Now I can pray with style.
This is the best gift ever.
Whether you're at church, in a book club, or just showing off at the local cafe, your Trump Blasphemy Bible will be the talk of the town. Order now at www.trumpsholyface.com or call 1-800-BIBLE-FACE and elevate your spiritual game for only $69.99. Shipping and handling not included. Limited time offer. Not responsible for any unintended blasphemy or sacrilegious implications. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, my children. Today I want to talk to you about something that's been weighing heavily on my mind. This is the Trump Bible. Yes, it has the Constitution in it, the Bill of Rights, and even an American flag on the cover. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jesus, isn't that a bit much? Exactly. The Bible is a sacred text meant to guide people spiritually, not a political manifesto. Mixing it with political documents and symbols is just wrong. Now, I'm glad there's at least one preacher out there who understands this. Roll the clip.
Some of you bring politics into the church. You think that politics is spiritual stuff. Politics is of this world. You think it's your duty to be political about this, that, and the other. No, your duty is to serve the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, body, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Don't be talking to me about my spiritual responsibility to vote. I don't have a spiritual responsibility to vote. I have a civic privilege. Don't be telling me that voting is spiritual. See, that's what happens when you don't read and pray. When you don't read and pray, you say, wow, there's a Bible out now that includes the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Isn't that wonderful? No. No, it's disgusting. It's blasphemous. It's a ploy. Are you kidding me? Some of you are so encouraged by that. Let me tell you something. The gospel is not an American gospel. It is the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ. But Pastor, I bought the Bible. Really? You're telling me that you're encouraged because someone took a government, U.S. Constitution, a document that says we are of the people, by the people, and for the people, the people, the people, the people. And you have put it right beside the Word of God, which is eternal, unchanging, which says, of Him, by Him, through Him, to Him, from Him are all things, and you're going to put those together and be happy about it? God forbid. Now, you can get mad if you want to, but I'm going to tell you something. If you glory in that kind of thing, you don't have a prayer life. If you glory in that kind of mess, political mess, you do not know what the Word of God says. I'm going to rear back and tell you something. This is not my home. This world is not my home. I've been sent out just like the 70 were sent out. You've been put here and sent out just like the 70 were sent out. We've been put here as strangers and pilgrims, and we are passing through. I am just walking through. I'm just renting an apartment for a little while in this strange and foreign land. No, sir. My real citizenship is in heaven, from which we look for the Lord Jesus Christ.
See? Someone gets it. Now let's keep the sacred sacred and the secular, well, where it belongs. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more.
From the creators of great products such as Musk Food Training, Trump Sneakers, and Trump Watches, introducing Donald Trump's very own Don's Diapers.
Folks, these aren't your regular diapers. These are Don diapers. I know diapers like nobody else. When Trump wears a diaper, it's gotta be a Don diaper. That's how good they are.
Don wanted something different. So we designed Don's diapers with SpaceX tech. Leak resistant, built to last, and engineered to handle significant pressure.
Look, folks, these Trump pants or Don's drawers, whatever they're called, they do the job. I mean, sometimes when you're talking, you kind of, well, get tired. Don's diapers, they're pretty snug. Help keep you, alert.
It's the diaper of the future. We even used Tesla's autopilot technology, sort of an accident prevention system.
Don's diapers come in 3 unique styles. Show your pride for stupidity by wearing the MAGA Don diaper. Or how about a little humor with the Stop the Smell Don diaper? Or if you're really rich, how about the luxurious and elegant gold and diamond plated Don diaper for the highly educated? There's a diaper for everyone.
People used to look at me weird. So today we're here in a bipartisan fashion to show leadership in an effort to end this sentence. And say that I smell like ketchup and armpits.
Armpits, ketchup, makeup, and a little butt.
But now, with the Don diaper, I keep my mess contained and my pride non-stained. These are the best diapers, folks. I'm talking about confidence, strongly confident.
Don diapers are selling, and they're selling fast. Call now and get bonus Trump cologne ketchup scented for one of those special nights. If you buy a Don diaper within 30 minutes, you'll be entered into a sweepstakes for a very special signed Don diaper. Don't wait, act now. Call 1-800-VON-SCHITZENPANTS for your very own Trump cologne and a chance to win a specially signed Don diaper. Don's Diapers.
If it's good enough for me, it's good enough for thee.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land. May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people.
I heard a rumor in the Sunday pews. They say there's a brand new fee to spread the good news. $100 grand to shake his hand and kneel down in prayer. But hallelujah, y'all, ain't that quite the fare? They say the blessings come with a price, but when your faith's on sale, you gotta think twice. He's got a golden grin and a gilded page, selling Trump Bibles. Tell me, is this the new rage? Oh, sing it now, hallelujah, amen. Pay up front if you wanna pray with him. The choir's chanting, it's a righteous plan, but I'm scratching my head. Do we need a payment plan? We got the 100K, hallelujah. It's a big bold show. And the Trump Bible revival, that's how it goes. He's strutting down the aisle in a bright red tie, offering salvation that'll cost you and I. They're selling seats in the front for a heavenly view as the band plays on. Bless me, bless you. He's preaching riches in a righteous tone, but this holy hustle might be overblown. He's autographing scriptures. If you check, don't bounce. Step right up, folks. Eternal grace by the ounce. Oh, sing it now, hallelujah, amen. Slide a check if you want to be born again. Buy a gilded Bible in the Trump design. Never mind that your pockets are running on decline. We got that front 100K, hallelujah. All the folks in tow at the Trump Bible revival, the stage lights glow. Oh, gather round, salvation's on sale. Step right up and don't be shy. Just 100,000 for this holy guy. I guess the Lord accepts more than love and prayer, but something's fishy when faith's stuck in Times Square. I'll just keep humming the good book song, 'cause the gospel I love ain't spelled out in gold bullion. Oh, sing it now, hallelujah, amen. Pony up if you want your soul to mend. They say the more you pay, the higher you'll climb, but I believe in grace that don't cost a dime. We got that 100K, hallelujah. Big business in the pew at the Trump Bible revival. Fortune shining through. Hallelujah. With a price tag. It's a business gag. I'll be praying for free in the old churchyard while the gospel truth lives in my humble heart.
Klepper's Corner, the passion of the Trump Easter edition. Welcome to Klepper's Corner, where every holiday miracle starts with a Trump tweet, a gallon of spite, and an unhealthy obsession with MS-13. Segment 1, the Easter post that went to hell. While most Americans were spending Easter with family, reflecting on hope and resurrection, Donald J. Trump was on X, formerly Twitter, currently a mental asylum, offering this. Yes, Trump tweeted, "Happy Easter to all," and then immediately followed it up with a shout out to the radical left lunatics for, quote, fighting to bring murderers, drug lords, dangerous prisoners, the mentally insane, MS-13 gang members, and wife beaters back into America. Happy Easter indeed. Nothing says he is risen like they are coming to kill us. Segment 2, Easter Mass, incarceration. Jesus died for our sins. Trump tweeted because no one would let him DJ the White House Easter egg roll, but he wasn't done. He also sent warm wishes to the weak and ineffective judges and law enforcement officials, which is basically Trump's version of the Easter Bunny hiding subpoenas in your yard. Segment 3, the gospel according to Donald. Now, if you thought Easter was about forgiveness, hope, and renewal, well, surprise, Trump thinks it's about the auto pen. That's right, he accused the person that ran and manipulated the auto pen of being the real president. It's official. Trump now believes he lost the 2020 election to Office Depot. Segment 4, calamitous acts and calamari-level drama. He called Biden's immigration policy the single most calamitous act ever perpetrated upon America. Worse than slavery, worse than 9/11, worse than the Cats movie. Segment 5, with great love, the final jab. And then, just when you think he's out of bile, he hits us with this. To all of the people who cheated in the 2020 presidential election, I wish you, with great love, sincerity, and affection, a very happy Easter. Because nothing says love and sincerity like a deranged tirade accusing half the country of treason. So let's recap Trump's Easter message, shall we? Happy Easter to murderers, MS-13, and your Nana if she votes Democrat. Judges are weak, Biden's not the president, a Bic pen is, and Easter is now a hostile takeover by the deep state and Cadbury. Somewhere out there, Jesus is like, bro, I died for this. We'll be right back.
Happy Easter to all, including the radical left lunatics who are fighting and scheming so hard to bring murderers, drug lords, dangerous prisoners, the mentally insane, and well-known MS-13 gang members and wife beaters back into our country. Happy Easter also to the weak and ineffective judges and law enforcement officials who are allowing this sinister attack on our nation to continue, an attack so violent that it will never be forgotten. Sleepy Joe Biden purposefully allowed millions of criminals to enter our count totally unvetted and unchecked through an open borders policy that will go down in history as the single most calamitous act ever perpetrated upon America. He was, by far, our worst and most incompetent president, a man who had absolutely no idea what he was doing. But to him and to the person that ran and manipulated the auto pen, perhaps our real president, and to all of the people who cheated in the 2020 presidential election in order to get this highly destructive moron elected, I wish you with great love, sincerity, and affection, a very happy Easter.
Tired of seeing Trump's face only on American flags?
It's great, but I need more.
Well, now you can take Trump's branding to divine heights. Introducing the Trump Blasphemy Bible, now featuring Trump's face.
I feel so holy.
It's like a miracle.
Praise be to me. That's right. Send me your offering, suckers. Oh crap, I mean my people.
For just $69.99, you can own your very own ticket to the highway to hell, the Trump Good Book.
Look, everyone, it's Trump and the flag on the Bible.
Wow, now that's divine. Now I can pray with style.
This is the best gift ever.
Whether you're at church, in a book club, or just showing off at the local cafe, your Trump Blasphemy Bible will be the talk of the town. Order now at www.trumpsholyface.com or call 1-800-BIBLE-FACE and elevate your spiritual game for only $69.99. Shipping and handling not included. Limited time offer. Not responsible for any unintended blasphemy or sacrilegious implications. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Klepper's Corner, Weird World News, the show where we sift through the internet's finest nonsense and say, yep, that tracks. This week we've got rogue birds, glowing fish, haunted toasters, and the most desperate boyfriend since Romeo. Let's dive in before something else explodes, like a Michigan teenager's relationship. Segment 1, Teen Bombshell. Our top story, love makes you do crazy things, buy flowers, write poetry, email a bomb threat to a Caribbean cruise ship, you know, normal stuff. A 19-year-old Michigan man sent a fake bomb threat to stop his girlfriend from going on a cruise with her family because nothing says "I miss you" like a felony and a federal investigation. Now, he's facing serious charges, and she's facing serious questions like, did I really date the human equivalent of an airport security breach? Segment 2. Turkish family feud goes global. Over in Turkey, one teen really wanted to go to a party so badly she clocked her grandmother in the head with her phone during an argument. Paramedics were called, grandma bled, and the whole thing somehow went global. Because if there's one thing the internet loves, it's elderly assault and family drama with subtitles. Note to teens, if you want to go to the party, maybe just sneak out like a normal, emotionally unstable youth. Segment 3, bridge to insanity. Meanwhile, in China, they're finishing the world's highest bridge, 625 meters above the Beipan River. That's 2,051 feet for Americans. Or, as I call it, my worst recurring nightmare. This is what happens when civil engineers start saying things like, you know what's missing from this canyon? Existential terror. Perfect for thrill seekers, skydivers, and goats with a death wish. Segment 4, Fireboy and the Proposal. At Fireboy DML's sold-out concert, a fan proposed in the middle of the Royal Albert Hall. Romantic? Sure. Strategic? Absolutely. She had two options. Say yes or look like the world's most heartless villain on TikTok. I respect the move. Go big or go home. And if she said no, there were 6,000 people to help him ugly cry into his overpriced merch. Segment 5, Florida man versus 47 roosters. Say it with me now, Florida man. This time, a man was arrested for stealing 47 roosters, not for a petting zoo. No, he was allegedly training them for illegal cockfighting. Why 47? Because 48 would be insane. He was caught with DIY cages, rooster steroids, and a VHS tape labeled Rocky II Poultry Edition, Florida, where crime meets feathers. Segment 6, Oregon's glowing fish mystery. On the beaches of Oregon, glowing fish are washing ashore. Some say it's bioluminescence, others say aliens. Either way, it's proof that nature is weird, the ocean is haunted, and Twitter is full of people who need hobbies. Experts are investigating, but ex-users already solved it. It's either radioactive sushi or the fish are evolving to rave. Segment 7, Scottish peacock terror. In a small Scottish town, a rogue peacock is terrorizing residents. It escaped from an estate and now spends its days screaming, strutting, and pecking paint off cars like an avian anarchist. Local attempts to trap it have failed, and it's now referred to as the feathered menace. Some call it a nuisance, others call it Scottish Batman. Either way, the town is one bird closer to total collapse. Segment 8, Toaster from Hell. An Ohio man claims his haunted toaster is sending him lottery numbers. He posted photos of toast with burned-in digits, swore it was real, and even won $500. So, either we've got a psychic appliance or a dude who's one burnt Pop-Tart away from full possession. I tried asking my blender for stock tips. It told me, buy kale, now I'm broke and gassy. Segment 9, 15,000 rubber ducks later. And finally, California. A woman now owns over 15,000 rubber ducks and built a museum in her house. This is what happens when Beanie Babies and bubble baths collide. Her collection includes cowboy ducks, astronaut ducks, zombie ducks, basically every duck that shouldn't exist but somehow must. And now she's famous. Because if there's one thing Americans love, it's excessive hoarding with a smile. That's it for this week's Weird World News. Remember, whether it's haunted toast, bird-based terror, or a teenage crime of passion so dumb it's romantic. The world is a flaming dumpster full of bizarre treasure. See you next time on Klepper's Corner, and if your toaster tells you anything, maybe don't listen. Well, folks, it finally happened. Pope Francis, the 266th Pope, the Bishop of Rome, the Vicar of Christ, and the only world leader to make both climate change and who am I to judge go viral, has officially checked into the heavenly Vatican timeshare. Born Jorge Mario Bergoglio in Buenos Aires in 1936, Pope Francis was a man of many contradictions. A Jesuit who rode the bus, a pontiff who washed the feet of prisoners, and a global leader who said, God never tires of forgiving us, while your Catholic aunt still hasn't forgiven you for missing Christmas Mass in 2011. Let's start with the big F word, forgiveness. Pope Francis once said, God never tires of forgiving us. We are the ones who tire of seeking his mercy, which is comforting until you realize he was talking about people confessing to watching The Bachelor while fasting. Francis made mercy his thing. He didn't just talk about turning the other cheek, he practically started cheek-slapping master classes for angry bishops. He famously said, a little bit of mercy makes the world less cold and more just. Unless you were a corrupt cardinal, in which case justice came with the press release and a demotion to the Vatican gift shop. Francis also championed the poor, a pope so anti-wealth hoarding. Jeff Bezos reportedly started sweating holy water every time Francis opened his mouth. He said, we all have to think about how we can become a little poorer, which is bold considering most popes wear robes worth more than a used Prius. And while he didn't sell off Vatican treasures for cash, let's be real, the man probably thought gold ceilings were just aggressively tacky. And then there's Laudato Si, the encyclical that turned Catholicism into a surprisingly woke branch of Greenpeace. He called Earth an immense pile of filth. Bold move insulting God's creation while still praising the architect. That's like complimenting your landlord while calling your apartment a blessed cockroach cathedral. But Pope Frank wasn't just talking trash, he was preaching stewardship. We are not God, the earth was here before us. Which is why, unlike every politician in Florida, he believed climate change wasn't a hoax invented by liberals and angry sea turtles. Now let's talk LGBTQ+. In 2013, he asked, who am I to judge? And for a church that practically invented judgment, that's like McDonald's asking, who am I to serve fries? He wasn't exactly officiating gay weddings in St. Peter's Square, but he was light years ahead of his predecessors. He told parents to stand by their LGBTQ+ kids, which is refreshing for an institution that usually prefers standing by to mean standing silently in the shadows and issuing vague condemnations. And Pope Francis loved young people in the spiritual, not creepy way. He once said, educating is an act of love. And unlike most quotes about education, this one didn't end with a standardized test score. He also said universities should train social poets, which honestly sounds like a slam poetry night hosted by Mr. Rogers. But hey, if TikTok influencers can call themselves creators, why not let Catholic students become poets of society with hearts of gold and GPAs of meh? Francis was also a peace pope. In a world that breathes the air of conflict, he reminded us to breathe something different, like incense, or compost fumes from Laudato Si composting stations. And he even challenged global leaders to love their people, advice that went over about as well as a vegan dish at a Texas BBQ. He once said, I prefer a church which is bruised, hurting, and dirty because it has been out on the streets, which raises questions like, what exactly is a bruised church? Is it limping? Did it lose a theological street fight to an angry YouTuber? But that metaphor, the church as a field hospital, nailed it. Francis wanted the church to heal people, not just scold them. And if that meant getting a little dirty, he brought holy soap. His final encyclical, De Lexit Nos, was a love letter to Jesus's heart. And in a world where fake love comes from dating apps and campaign speeches, he reminded us Jesus remains concerned for us even when no one else is. That kind of spiritual intimacy is what made Francis different. A man who hugged the homeless, FaceTimed with prisoners, and still found time to dunk on capitalism with saintly swagger. Now, hold your incense as of this taping. News of Francis' death is still being verified. There are rumors, there are ex-posts, there are conspiracy theories involving aliens and gluten-free communion wafers. So, until we get official confirmation, and not from at Vatican Leaks 420, we honor his life as ongoing, his legacy as unchallenged, and his Twitter presence as blessedly minimal. To Pope Francis, the man who made mercy fashionable, climate change Catholic, and humility holy, may your words echo louder than the scandals ever did. And may your successor be half as decent and twice as memeable. Rest in peace. Folks, if you thought the world couldn't get any weirder, you clearly haven't met a marathon-winning robot, a toothpaste that tastes like lunch, or a goat that cheats death better than Vin Diesel in Fast and Furious 27. Still not furious enough. This is weird news. Segment 1, run, Robo, run. In Beijing, robots are no longer stealing our jobs, they're also stealing our medals. The world's first robot half marathon just happened, and yes, a robot named Tian Kung Ultra crossed the finish line like an Olympic Terminator, because nothing screams progress like getting smoked by a hunk of metal that doesn't sweat, cramp, or stop for a banana. The event was sponsored by the future and co-hosted by Skynet. Can't wait for the 10K where Siri screams, recalculating, as she sprints into a bush. Segment 2, oral hygiene, extra crispy. Next up, KFC. You know, the company that said, what if brushing your teeth made you hungrier for fried meat? That's right. Fried chicken-flavored toothpaste. It's fluoride-free, calorie-free, and probably dignity-free. Can't wait for the sequel, mashed potato mouthwash, now with real chunks. Segment 3, the goat who lived. In divine intervention news, a Yada sacrificial goat survived a car crash. Yeah, the goat was literally on its way to the end when fate and possibly a distracted driver hit pause. Some are calling it a miracle. The goat's calling his agent. The goat has reportedly demanded to be worshipped now, and honestly, same. Segment 4, mutilation mystery. Meanwhile, in Montana, things have gotten utterly suspicious. Authorities are investigating cattle mutilations with no clear cause. Aliens, cultists, a vegan TikTok protest gone too far. Whatever's going on, it's not good news for cows or conspiracy theorists who just ordered a fresh batch of red yarn. Segment 5, escalating laziness. In China's Lingshan scenic area, they've installed escalators up a mountain because hiking was just too sweaty. Now you too can summit nature's wonders while checking TikTok and eating Cheetos. Finally, the outdoors without the out or the doors. Segment 6, science finds useless organs slightly useful. Science has rediscovered a female body part once thought useless, the rete ovarii. Apparently it does do something, which is science's way of saying, oops, our bad, turns out women aren't built like IKEA furniture. Next week, science discovers men's nipples have no purpose. Again. Segment 7, circle of trunks. At the San Diego Zoo, a group of elephants formed an alert circle to protect a baby. Oh, it's like if the Secret Service was 4 tons of empathy and didn't cover up January 6th. Segment 8, drunk rugby with no rules. And finally, in England, because of course it's England, villagers gathered for the bottle kicking contest, where teams fight over a beer barrel, and that's it. It's rugby meets beer pong meets Monty Python. No rules, no prizes, just bruises and bragging rights. Which also describes most British family holidays. So there you have it, robots running marathons, goats dodging doom, toothpaste that tastes like guilt, and science going, oopsie, we missed a spot. The world's weird, people. Stay skeptical, stay clean. Unless you're brushing with chicken. I'm Jordan Klepper. This was Klepper's Corner. And if anyone sees that marathon robot, tell him I want a rematch. On stairs. April showers bring lightning, thunder, and tornadoes. Oh my. April showers, more like April shock therapy. This week, Mother Nature threw a tantrum, Pope Francis left us, Trump tanked the market via tweet, and the NBA playoffs began because nothing screams normalcy like watching Steph Curry hit threes while dodging meteor showers and economic collapse. Let's dive into the week America experienced the full wrath of Earth, God, and Trump. Segment 1, Tornado Alley or Trump Rally. Severe storms ripped through Oklahoma, Texas, and Missouri this Easter weekend, killing 5 people and displacing hundreds. It was like God hit shuffle on a natural disaster playlist. In Oklahoma, a tornado touched down in Ada. Meanwhile, in Texas, Weatherford saw homes flattened and Montague County got its own version of Cars 4 drenched and doomed on Highway 81. By Sunday, the storms moved into Missouri, where tornadoes hit counties with names like Callaway and Guthrie, aka the Weather Channel's new spinoff, Twisters and Trailers. 'Cause why not? Even the sky is throwing temper tantrums under this administration. Segment 2, NBA playoffs tip-off just in time for the apocalypse. Yes, while the country was underwater, on fire, and being deported, the NBA playoffs began. Highlights included Celtics smashing the Magic like they found out Orlando voted for Trump, Knicks winning a playoff game, prompting spontaneous parades and 3 separate rapture sightings in Manhattan, Timberwolves devouring the Lakers like they were leftover Easter ham, and the Warriors beat the Rockets in what sportscasters called a nail-biter, and Texans called the only win we got this weekend. Segment 3, Pope Francis passes away. The world mourned the loss of Pope Francis, who passed away on April 21st. The Vatican announced funeral plans expected to draw millions. Meanwhile, Trump reportedly asked if he was allowed to brand the casket. A man of humility, justice, and mercy, Francis was the anti-Trump in a robe. Segment 4, Trump tweets, market bleeds. President Trump tweeted at 8:41 a.m. about his tariff plan, causing the market to free fall faster than Rudy Giuliani's hair dye in a heat wave. Companies like 3M and Kimberly-Clark cut forecasts. The dollar tanked and gold prices surged as Americans prepared for the apocalypse by investing in shiny rocks and Bitcoin, which soared past $90,000. Nothing says economic confidence like a digital coin named after a breakfast item beating the U.S. dollar. Segment 5, Icy nabs a cancer researcher because priorities. In the middle of all this, ICE detained Ksenia Petrova, a Harvard scientist who invented breakthrough cancer diagnostics. Because if there's one thing America doesn't need during a medical crisis, it's science. Her research is now on hold, but don't worry. Trump just appointed Dr. Oz to fix it with essential oils. Segment 6, immigration crackdowns continue. A federal judge blocked the deportation of Venezuelans at Bluebonnet Detention Center, citing lack of due process. Meanwhile, Trump continues replacing immigration judges like they're chairs on The Voice. It's like Ellis Island meets a gas station bathroom, legally questionable, poorly staffed, and weirdly sticky. Segment 7, Lyrid meteor shower and other distractions. The Lyrid meteor shower peaked, but with wildfires, tariffs, and tornadoes, most Americans saw it and just screamed, Is this the end? Spoiler, not yet, but we're trending. Segment 8, Infinity Nikki, Becky Armstrong, Billie Eilish, and Brain Fog. While chaos reigned, Infinity Nikki dropped, Becky Armstrong won a singing challenge, and Billie Eilish kicked off her European tour. Because if the world ends, we might as well go out vibing in a pixelated dress, humming a bop. So there you have it. Storms, sports, saints and screw-ups, Pope Francis ascends, the stock market descends, and Trump just kind of floats somewhere in the middle like a wet bag of Cheetos on a flood current. I'm Jordan Klepper, and this has been Klepper's Corner, Trump Merica. Tune in next week when we investigate whether Trump can deport the weather. Welcome back to Klepper's Corner, the only show where we say, hey, Trump, you're not a king, no matter how many golden toilets you install in the Lincoln bedroom. Segment 1, no kings, just very stable geniuses. Topic, nationwide anti-Trump protests. This weekend, millions gathered across the country for a nationwide protest dubbed No Kings. The movement, organized by grassroots group 5051, which sounds like either a democracy-loving militia or Elon Musk's next child, hit all 50 states, well, except for Delaware, Louisiana, Nebraska, and North Carolina, which we assume were too busy watching the NBA playoffs or sharpening pitchforks for unrelated reasons. Some protesters compared Trump to Elon Musk's golden retriever, which is unfair to golden retrievers. At least they don't charge you $8 a month to bark misinformation. Segment 2, snowpocalypse and bunny storms. Topic, Easter travel disrupted plus Colorado snowstorm. Meanwhile, Easter holiday travel was a mess thanks to, surprise, more severe weather. Thunderstorms battered airports nationwide, with Denver International Airport reporting a devastating half-inch of snow. That's right, half an inch. Or as J.D. Vance calls it, too woke for real America. Segment 3, eggs and escalations. Topic, Putin declares Easter truce with Ukraine, and in international news, Vladimir Putin declared an Easter truce with Ukraine, because nothing says goodwill like pausing your illegal invasion long enough to dye eggs and reload tanks. Segment 4, Trump's tasty trade war now ruining snack time. Topic, tariffs impact Asian American groceries. Trump's trade war is now targeting America's most sacred institution, snacks. Asian grocery stores are reporting major price spikes due to the 10% tariffs, meaning Halloween and Christmas are now more expensive and culturally confusing. Segment 5, Harvard versus the unauthorized email blast. Topic, anti-Semitism, task force letter scandal. In Cambridge, Harvard found itself in a bureaucratic bar brawl with Trump's anti-Semitism task force because someone in the White House hit send on a letter no one authorized. That's right. Trump's admin is now drafting hate mail without adult supervision. Segment 6, International Speed Round. Rapid-fire global headlines. Let's zip through the rest of the world's nonsense, like J.D. Vance fleeing a couch sale. U.S. and Ukraine finalize a mineral deal. Translation, we traded rocks for slightly fewer explosions. Trump threatens to exit peace talks. You know, classic Trump, enters through the gift shop, exits through the war room. Vietnam buys F-16s. Somewhere, John McCain's ghost just groaned. Masked Singer reveal Nessie was Edwin McCain. And yes, that is the most 2001 sentence ever spoken in 2025. Segment 7, Holy Pope. Francis lies in state. Topic, death of Pope Francis. Pope Francis now lies in state, and the world mourns. And nothing honors the humility of a pope quite like J.D. Vance tweeting, he looked frail, but I still got a selfie. Segment 8, Lord, Fashion Wars, and Cicadas. Topic, Entertainment Roundup. Lord's new single, What Was That?, dropped with a surprise concert so underground even permits didn't know about it. Meanwhile, Infinity Nikki turned dress up into digital dopamine. And cicadas are about to flood the country again, which makes them the most consistent influencers of 2025. Segment 9, Tariffs, Toxins, and the New NFL Messiah. Topic, U.S. policy plus NFL draft. Trump promised China's tariffs would go down. Eventually, probably, maybe. Meanwhile, air pollution still affects over 150 million Americans, but at least mortgage rates dropped. Yay. And in the sports world, the NFL draft approaches. Will the Titans pick a quarterback or just the loudest guy at a Waffle House? Time will tell. From protests to tariffs to cicada raves, remember, folks, that this isn't a political fever dream. It's just America. But make it Trump America. Good night, and may your snacks stay untariffed. Tonight on Klepper's Corner, we dive headfirst into the swirling toilet bowl of humanity known as weird news. We have got surprise resurrections, exploding Ferraris, herpes karaoke, and enough cicadas to make you wish you had never been born. So strap in. If it gets any weirder, we are going to need an exorcist. Story 1, dead woman comes back to life. First up, Nigeria, where a woman who was declared dead did what anyone would do at their own funeral. She decided it was a little early for a casket nap and came back to life mid-transport. Because nothing says oopsie like your loved one banging on the inside of a coffin yelling, "Hey, idiots, I am not done yet." According to viral reports, she sat up, causing mourners to immediately debate whether it was a miracle, a medical misdiagnosis, or a hellishly awkward clerical error. Look, either God's got a wicked sense of humor or the doctor who signed that death certificate has some explaining to do. Like, a lot. Story 2, viral TikTok recipe sends child to hospital. Meanwhile in Florida. Because of course it is Florida, a 9-year-old child tried a viral TikTok recipe involving melted Jolly Ranchers, and it went about as well as trying to deep fry a live grenade. Severe burns, hospitalization, and a lifetime supply of what doctors call bad ideas when authorities have to put out a warning that says, please do not microwave literal napalm in your kitchen. That is not a prank. That is parenting by Darwin. Story 3, Ferrari bursts into flames. Next to Tokyo, where a man named Hong Kong lived every rich guy's worst nightmare. Minutes after receiving his brand new Ferrari 458 Spider, it exploded on the highway, which means this man officially owns the world's most expensive pile of ashes. Imagine spending 300 grand just to experience spontaneous combustion. Congratulations, Hong Kong. You did not buy a car, you bought a Michael Bay movie. Story 4. Betting on the next pope and slightly more classy degeneracy after the death of Pope Francis. The world's gamblers did what gamblers do. They turned the holy selection of a new pope into March Madness with incense. Nothing screams piety like parlaying St. Peter's successor into a $10 win on DraftKings. Coming soon, papal prop bets. Over under on how long until the new pope tweets something wildly problematic. Story 5, cicada swarm apocalypse. And speaking of biblical events, brace yourselves, because this spring, America is about to be attacked by billions of screaming cicadas. If you thought Florida man was annoying, wait until you meet a trillion horny bugs trying to hook up outside your bedroom window at 2 in the morning. The last time this happened, people fled indoors and pets staged uprisings. And this time, it is bigger, it is louder, it is cicada Woodstock. Story 6, karaoke mic herpes next. To China, where a woman claims she contracted herpes from a karaoke microphone, which means somewhere out there is a microphone that has lived a far more exciting life than I have. Health officials recommend not putting your mouth directly on public microphones, which honestly should have been rule number 1 right after. Do not lick public toilets for TikTok fame. Story 7, chocolate egg poisoning tragedy. And finally, Brazil, where a woman allegedly poisoned her ex's new girlfriend by sending her tainted chocolate Easter eggs. First of all, what an absolutely insane way to weaponize Easter. Second, somewhere out there, a Hallmark movie executive just wrote the first 5 pages of Easter Revenge. You think you are getting a sweet treat. You end up reenacting Agatha Christie's Death by Dairy. So to recap, we have got resurrection parties, flaming Ferraris, microphone herpes, chocolate assassins, and a cicada invasion on the way, or as we like to call it here at Klepper's Corner. Just another beautiful week on planet Earth. Stay weird, stay skeptical, and for the love of God, do not eat mystery chocolate or sing into the community mic. Good night.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Oliver's Opinion. I am John Oliver. Thank you so much for joining us. We begin tonight with something that is supposed to protect America, but somehow ends up screwing it harder than a mattress store in a recession. Tariffs. Yes. Tariffs. The economic equivalent of punching yourself in the face and calling it patriotism. They are back. Again. Because President Donald Trump has decided that the only thing more satisfying than blaming China for everything is charging Americans more money to prove it. This week, Trump unveiled his latest round of tariffs, and in case you are wondering if they are smart, strategic, or economically sound, they are not. But they do sound really tough when you yell them over a Kid Rock remix in a Waffle House parking lot. Trump is treating tariffs like they are a cure for every disease: unemployment, inflation, globalism, sadness, erectile dysfunction, you name it. He will tariff it. And while he claims they are a brilliant negotiating tactic, let us be clear, these tariffs are less of a strategy and more of a tantrum with paperwork. So, tonight, we are going to dive deep into how tariffs work, who actually pays for them, and why Trump is basically holding a grenade with the pin in his mouth and insisting that it is gum. Tonight we begin with a word that is as American as apple pie bankruptcy and naming your child Braden. Tariffs, yes, tariffs, or as Donald Trump calls them, tariffs are good and easy to win. That is not economic theory. That is the kind of thing you hear from a toddler after their first lemonade stand goes under because they charged $17 a cup. Let us talk about Donald Trump's love affair with tariffs, because my God, it is more passionate than Rudy Giuliani whispering sweet nothings to a landscaping company. Trump has made tariffs the centerpiece of his economic policy. He has slapped them on steel, aluminum, washing machines, Chinese goods, Canadian goods, French wine, Mexican avocados. If it exists and is not nailed down, he has tried to tariff it.
A tariff is a tax on a foreign country. That's the way it is, whether you like it or not. A lot of people like to say, oh, it's a tax on us. No, no, no. It's a tax on a foreign country. We're going to be a tariff nation. It's not going to be a cost to you. It's going to be a cost to another country. I heard Kamala the other day, Comrade Kamala, she said, oh, if you do that, he's raising your taxes. No, no, no. I'm not raising your taxes. And by the way, you know, for years they knocked the word tariff, properly used, is a beautiful word. One of the most beautiful words I've ever heard. It's music to my ears. You know, we used to be an all-tariff country in the 1890s, 1880s, 1890s, early 1900s, all tariffs. That was when our country was the richest it ever was. Thank you. And that was easy. I didn't even do anything other than say, I'm telling you, the man said it right over here. It's the most beautiful word in the dictionary. You have other words that are damn nice like love, but I tell you, I think it's more beautiful than love, the word tariff.
And according to him, it is all going perfectly.
Big, and it's not sustainable. And you know, I was elected on this. This was one of the biggest reasons I got elected, was exactly because of this. And we're going to put tariffs, we've already put them on. It's not a question of we will. We're going to put them on. And those tariffs next year will make us $1 trillion.
In addition to the $1 trillion, thousands of companies are going to relocate back into the United States.
Billions. Yes, Donald. But let me explain this in a way you might understand. Saying we made billions from tariffs is like a guy setting fire to his neighbor's car and bragging about how much the fine was. Here is the thing about tariffs. They are not paid by foreign governments. They are paid by American importers and eventually you, the consumer. It is like Trump saw a pothole in the road and decided to fix it by taking a baseball bat to your tires. It is essentially a tax that only affects you, but with more flags and shouting, and the results. Well, let us just say, America is definitely feeling it. Tariffs have cost the average household over $1,000 a year. Farmers have been decimated. Factories are struggling. Harley-Davidson is moving production overseas. And that is before we get to the balloon arch decorators who now apparently cannot afford imported helium. Let us take a quick stroll through the tariff graveyard. First, farmers. Trump promised to save them. Then he started a trade war with China, their largest customer. And China said, no soy for you. Second, automakers. Trump added steel tariffs. Suddenly, cars cost more. Then he tried to tariff foreign cars even more, which is hilarious, because Trump's personal car collection looks like the Fast and the Furious. But make it Monaco. Now Trump's defenders say it is about bringing jobs back, and that is a great sentiment. But like most Trump promises, the devil is in the poorly typed all-caps tweet, because while a few manufacturing jobs were created, more were lost in downstream industries that rely on imports, like retail, construction, and yes, balloon art. And tariffs have started global economic bar fights. China retaliated with tariffs on American pork, wine, and lobsters. Poor lobsters. First, they are boiled alive. Now they are caught in a geopolitical custody battle, and all this tit for tat has created economic uncertainty. Markets hate that. Businesses hate that. It is like your boss showing up every morning, spinning a giant wheel, and deciding whether everyone is fired, promoted, or sent to fight Canada with Nerf guns. South here is the bottom line. Tariffs sound tough. They let politicians pound their chests and yell, we are not being taken advantage of, but in reality, they are just another tax, and you are paying for it. And while Trump insists this is the art of the deal, what we have really gotten is the fart of the feel. You do not know where it came from, but you are still stuck living in the stink.
Hello, America. It's your favorite president here. Believe me, everyone's saying it. Today, I want to talk to you about promises made and promises, well, let's just get started. First, grocery prices. I said they'd come down dramatically and fast, like warp speed. But folks, did you know groceries are complicated? Nobody knew grocery stores could be so complicated. Maybe I'll just declare them fake prices. Problem solved. Now, the Russia-Ukraine war. I promised it'd be over in 24 hours. Easy, right? Turns out those guys really like fighting. Very stubborn, great fighters, tremendous endurance. So I've decided my 24 hours are presidential hours. That gives me about 4 more years, roughly speaking. You're welcome. Supreme Court nominations, day 1 list. Turns out they're a little shy. They prefer to remain anonymous nominees. We're working on it. So mysterious, very exciting. And sanctuary cities, I promised to ban them day 1. But then someone told me cities aren't like Twitter accounts. You can't just ban them. Who knew? I'll send Congress a strongly worded tweet. Stay tuned. The Green New Deal, I promised to ban it. Turns out it never happened. So technically it's banned by default. Another promise kept. You're welcome again. Electric vehicles, I promised to reverse Biden's policy immediately, but someone hid my keys to the executive order drawer. Probably Obama. I'll have Rudy look into it. Schools pushing bad content, cutting funding day 1. Turns out education funding is important or something. Who knew? I'll circle back to it. Big circles, tremendous circles. Closing the border day 1, I declared a national emergency. But Mexico keeps sneaking people in through something called doors. We're investigating those. Biggest deportation ever, started strong. Then we realized America is really big, like really big, possibly the biggest country ever. Tips, taxes. Who knew eliminating taxes involves legislation? Congress is so slow, very lazy. Utility bills. Turns out electricity doesn't listen when you just shout at it. Who knew? Housing, cutting federal regulation sounded great. Turns out houses are built locally. Did anyone else know that? Opioids, very tough, very sad.
I promised to fix it day one, but apparently is solved immediately. And let's form a committee sound really similar. Honest mistake, folks. Canada and Mexico tariffs, I promised by February 1st. It's March now. Did you know calendars can be wrong? Mine was made in China. Sad. Eliminating DEI programs, working on it. I mean, we fired people, lots of people. I'm told that's different from eliminating. Who knew vocabulary mattered? In conclusion, America, promises made, promises. Well, I mean, we're looking into it. Believe me, nobody looks into things like me. Greatest looker into her ever. Good night, America. And remember, if a promise isn't kept, it's probably fake news.
Welcome to Klepper's Corner, Trump Merica, where if you think you're having a fever dream, good news, so is the president. This week, tariffs collapse, climate protests explode, Trump claims to solve Ukraine, and half the country wishes they'd gone Amish when they had the chance. Let's dive into this week's Carnival of Sad Magic. Segment 1, Tariff Tantrum. 145% to something less, probably? Trump announced he's dropping his 145% tariffs on China to a more reasonable, maybe sort of not quite zero, because when the economy started crying like a toddler at Target, Daddy Trump promised ice cream, then threw the toddler into the freezer section. He said the tariffs would come substantially down, but not all the way. Like a drunk uncle on a staircase, huh? I'm gonna come down, but first let me dance a little. Segment 2. Powell Hour, Trump's favorite hostage. In a shocking plot twist, Trump announced he won't fire Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell after months of roasting him like a Thanksgiving turkey. Wall Street rejoiced because nothing says stable leadership like your boss angrily tweeting about you, then pretending you're best friends at the office party. Segment 3, the State Department diet plan. Meanwhile, Trump and Marco Rubio are putting the State Department on a crash diet. They're cutting bloat and bureaucracy, which is Trump speak for removing anyone who's ever read a book. They want nimble results. That's right. The U.S. foreign policy strategy is now CrossFit. Segment 4, hide that report, good news. A federal judge ruled that Trump's classified documents scandal report will stay sealed. Apparently, a Freedom of Information Act was just rebranded as Freedom to Shut the Hell Up Act. Segment 5, nonprofits in full Panic at the Disco mode. Progressive nonprofits are holding daily emergency calls because they expect Trump to unleash legal hell on them. It's like a fire drill. But instead of finding an exit, you just move to Canada. Segment 6, Ukraine plan, just give Russia a little hug. Trump tried to pressure Ukraine into accepting a peace plan that would freeze the war where it is, aka congratulations Russia, you win. Nothing says art of the deal like negotiating for the other guy. Segment 7, tariffs are back, baby. Guess what? Trump said he's reinstating global tariffs because nothing soothes a teetering economy quite like throwing a Molotov cocktail into the stock exchange. Segment 8, climate protesters attack Trump Tower. In protest, climate activists vandalized the inside of Trump Tower. Authorities say they arrested the protesters, but inside sources confirmed the building itself requested protective custody. Segment 9, polls. Americans say you're fired. Polls show only 37% approve of Trump's handling of the economy, meaning even fewer people like Trump's economy than like the final season of Game of Thrones. Segment 10, election integrity, or whatever that means. This week, Trump signed an order to investigate straw donors and foreign contributions because nothing says clean elections like being audited by the same guy who thought Sharpies counted as legal ballots. Segment 11, judges to Trump. No, you can't. Federal judges blocked Trump's plans to cut school funding, mass deport people, and shut down fundraising platforms. Basically, Trump's presidency is now the legal equivalent of a toddler grabbing things at a grocery store checkout line and the cashier just putting them back. Segment 12, workforce cuts. Now featuring racism. Federal cuts hit black federal workers hardest because why discriminate a little when you can discriminate a lot? Segment 13. Meanwhile, at the Vatican, Trump attended Pope Francis's funeral using the solemn event to have backdoor peace talks with Zelensky. You know it's serious when even the dead Pope is like, bruh, not now. Segment 14, largest anti-Trump protest yet. Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands protested across America, which Trump described as the largest support rally in history before wandering into a Wendy's and declaring himself king of the drive-thru. So to recap, tariffs are down, tariffs are up, democracy is on clearance, and the president is now running foreign policy from the funeral of a pope. Ladies and gentlemen, Trump isn't just making the news, he is the news. And unfortunately for the rest of us, there are no refunds. Good night, America. Okay. And remember, if the news feels like an episode of Jackass directed by Werner Herzog, you're not alone.
I made a big old promise, said I'd fix the price of gas. Told you eggs would be cheaper, but now you're crying at the checkout fast. Said I'd be the best, folks, believe me, it's true. Now you're selling your furniture just to buy some stew. Yeah! Ooh, what happened to that? Ooh, I did that. Well, I did that. Groceries high as a cat in a hat. You thought I'd save your cash, but now your bank account is trash. Oh, I did that. You did that. Remember when I told you gas will be so cheap? Now you're crying at the station, filling up ain't neat. A carton of eggs, forget about those. Better start investing in some backyard crows. Get a chicken, we blame the Fed, blame the Dems, blame the media too. Blame Hunter, blame windmills, what else can I do? I take no responsibility, that ain't my style. Now let's all pretend this didn't happen for a while. Call, get a chicken. Ooh, well, I did that. Economy's flat like a popped air match. You thought I'd bring relief, now you're cutting coupons like a thief. Oh, I did that. Yeah, he did that. Ooh, Listen, folks, listen. I never said prices would drop. I just said eventually, maybe by 2053. And hey, windmills, folks, you know they're to blame, right? Windmills and Nancy Pelosi. That means he ain't got one. Ooh, Listen, folks, listen. I never said prices would drop. I just said eventually, maybe by 2053. And hey, windmills, folks, you know they're to blame, right? Windmills and Nancy Pelosi. So if you're feeling hopeless, if your wallet is tight, just re-elect me, baby, and I'll make things right. Sure, last time I failed, but let's not dwell, 'cause this time my plan is, that means he ain't got one. Ooh, some say it's the markets, some say it's a trend. I say just trust me, 'cause I'm your best friend. Forget all the past, ignore all the facts. Let's all pretend that I never said that. La, don't check the tapes.
Hello, America, and hello to our international viewers. I see you, Denmark. Welcome to Klepper's Corner, the world's weirdest political stories, this month's edition. Because every month, politicians around the world ask, how can we make the onion completely irrelevant by Thursday? April 2025 did not disappoint. Let's dive headfirst into the inflatable ball pit of despair. First up, Trump's Vatican vacation. Donald Trump attended Pope Francis's funeral, which honestly feels like inviting the Hamburglar to a Weight Watchers meeting. Trump squeezed in a private chat with Ukraine's Zelensky. and afterwards, shock of shocks, publicly criticized Putin. That's right. Trump pulled a foreign policy pivot faster than a TikToker changing outfits. Meanwhile, back home, his approval ratings are dropping faster than the Vatican's Wi-Fi when Trump tried live streaming his NFT sale from the funeral gift shop. Next, Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, decided to streamline Social Security. And by streamline, I mean declare 4 million Americans dead by accident. Nothing says innovation like canceling grandma's check because her jitterbug phone didn't sync to the cloud. Former officials called it Silicon Valley bro culture invading the government, which explains why every denied benefit now comes with a passive-aggressive meme that says skill issue. And because no national meltdown is complete without protests, we got hands-off rallies across America. In Lafayette, Indiana, a man showed up open carrying a rifle to a peaceful protest because nothing says hands off like brandishing your Second Amendment emotional support musket. Police detained him, then shrugged, said he wasn't technically a threat, and sent him home to grill something aggressively. Meanwhile, Senator Cory Booker shattered records by speaking nonstop for 25 straight hours on the Senate floor. By hour 18, he was freestyling Hamilton lyrics. By hour 23, he was hallucinating the Founding Fathers dabbing to Lil Nas X. It was the political version of a college student pulling an all-nighter and forgetting what year it is. Now, across the pond in the UK, the Everyone Hates Elon campaign launched with so much energy it made Brexit look well organized. They vandalized Tesla ads, smashed a Model S in public, and made it crystal clear the British will tolerate bad weather, bad teeth, and bad government, but they will not tolerate bad Wi-Fi speeds courtesy of Elon Musk. Meanwhile, Dame Andrea Jenkins, a former Miss UK finalist, found herself at the center of a vicious smear campaign during her mayoral run. There were allegations, insults, and more tea spilled than at a Buckingham Palace brunch. British politics, where the backstabbing is polite but extremely creative. Now to Australia, where things somehow got even weirder. Independent candidate Nicolette Bowl was banned from a hair salon after making an incredibly awkward, sexually suggestive joke to a teenage hairdresser. Pro tip, maybe don't flirt when someone has scissors and direct access to your jugular. And over at the Trumpet of Patriots party, Clive Palmer released voting recommendation cards so confusing voters thought it was an optometrist's eye test. When people got mad, Clive blamed sabotage by mystery forces. In Australia, that basically means a kangaroo, an emu, or communists, maybe all three working together. And finally, satire met reality when the New York Post exposed that getting approval to install an EV charger now takes 14 separate government steps. By the time you finish the paperwork, your EV is a fossil and you're applying for a permit to install a horse trough. That's it for April 2025. Remember, in global politics, bad ideas aren't just made, they're mass-produced, gift-wrapped, and shipped overnight. This has been Klepper's Corner. Good night, good luck, and please hug your nearest exhausted government worker. They've been through enough.
Thanks very much for joining me. We are living in a dangerous and unprecedented moment in American history. And I'm getting a lot of calls from people who are not only upset about what's happening, but are wondering how we best go forward. Well, let me tell you, we've got to be smart, we've got to be organized, and we've got to fight back. This is not a time for wallowing in despair and hiding under the covers. The stakes are just too high. We're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for our kids, for future generations. We're fighting for the future of this planet. In the first 2 weeks of his presidency, Donald Trump defied the Constitution by ending birthright citizenship, fired government watchdogs, allowed drilling along our coastlines, pardoned violent insurrectionists, suspended all foreign aid, and tried to cut off virtually all federal funding. So, how do we go forward? First, to be effective, we've got to understand what, in fact, is happening around us right now. Second, we need a short-term strategy. What do we do tomorrow and the next day and the day after that? Third, we need a long-term strategy. How do we build a movement that gains political power? Here is, in my view, a brief overview as to what is happening under Trump. Most importantly, the move toward oligarchy in our country, government run by the rich and the powerful, is proceeding rapidly. And it's not being done secretly. A little over a week ago, Donald Trump was inaugurated for his second term. Standing right behind him were the three richest men in the world, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg. Men who have become over $200 billion richer since Trump was elected and who now are worth almost $1 trillion more money than the bottom half of American society, 170 million people. But it's not just oligarchy that we should worry about. This country under Trump is moving rapidly toward authoritarianism. Just a few examples. In violation of the Constitution and federal law, Trump attempted the other day to suspend all federal grants and loans. That means he blocked funding for Medicaid, Head Start, food stamps, homeless veterans, etc., etc. Tens of millions of Americans, some of the most vulnerable people in our country, were impacted by that decision. Fortunately, Americans all across the country stood up in outrage and said no, no. And with the help of the courts, much, but not all of that freeze funding was rescinded. You may have noticed that Trump is intimidating the media with lawsuits against ABC, CBS, Meta, and the Des Moines Register. If Trump does not like what media reports, he is threatening them with lawsuits, undermining the First Amendment. That is a direct movement toward authoritarianism. Now, that's a very broad overview of where we are today. In terms of short-term strategy, we've got to mobilize as strongly as we can against Trump's dangerous proposals. And let me just say this, importantly. Yes, the Republicans control the House and the Senate, but do not forget their majorities are small. In the House, a body of 435 members, they have a 4-vote majority. That is a razor-thin margin, and their legislation can be defeated. There are a number of Republicans out there who won in Democratic districts by small margin. So let me tell you, these guys do respond to phone calls and emails. So if there's a piece of legislation you disagree with, get on the phone and call the Capitol switchboard at 202-224-2131. And what is some of that legislation that we should be concerned about? Republicans right now are working on what's called a budget reconciliation bill, the most important element which would be a massive tax break for the wealthy to be paid for by large cuts in Medicaid and other programs that working families and low-income people desperately need. At a time of unprecedented income and wealth inequality, when so many of our people are struggling to put food on the table, we must not savage programs for working families to provide huge tax breaks for billionaires. We must vigorously oppose Trump's efforts at mass deportation. Yes, we must strengthen our borders. Yes, we should deport people who have been convicted of serious crimes. But no, we cannot destroy families who have lived and worked in this country peacefully for decades. Not only is Trump's mass deportation program immoral, it will have a severely negative impact on our economy. As all of you know, we are seeing extreme weather disturbances and devastation in our country and all over the world related to climate change. Think about LA, think about North Carolina. We must vigorously oppose this absurd drill, baby, drill doctrine, which will only make an incredibly dangerous climate situation even worse. And those are just a few of the issues that are coming down the pike. But we cannot just play defense. We have got to be on the offense. Please never forget that the agenda that we are fighting for is widely supported by working families all across this country, and we must continue to fight for that agenda. The American people do not want cuts to Medicaid and the privatization of Medicare. They understand that health care is a human right, not a privilege. We must continue the struggle for Medicare for all so that every American has the health care that he or she needs. That's not a radical idea. That's what Americans want. Federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour is a starvation wage. We must raise that minimum wage to a living wage, at least $17 an hour. If you work 40 hours a week in America, you should not be living in poverty. All over this country, we have a major housing crisis, and it's not just 800,000 who are homeless. It is millions of working families who are spending 40, 50, 60% of their limited incomes on housing. Instead of spending almost $1 trillion a year on a wasteful and bloated Pentagon budget, we have got to build millions of units of low-income and affordable housing. And when we do that, we put large numbers of people to work at good-paying union jobs. I could go on, but let me conclude by saying this. The United States is the wealthiest nation in the history of the world. If we stand together and oppose right-wing efforts to divide us up by our race, by our religion, our sexual orientation, or where we were born, if we stand together, there is nothing that we cannot accomplish. Bottom line, let us go forward and fight for a government and an economy that works for all, not just a few. We simply do not have the luxury of moaning and groaning. We have got to stand up and fight back. We can do it. Let's go forward together. Thank you very much.